welcome to episode 9. Just wait for the cameras to catch up. That's an interesting one that we seem to suffer quite fast and often.
Yeah, never mind.
So yeah. Anyway, welcome back. Sorry about last week. We did miss an opportunity to post, and to broadcast. I'll go with that one instead.
It's good words. He has many words.
Sacrifice. So tonight we are going to do last week's broadcast, episode 9, Rise of an Empire, episode Sacrifice. It's we're getting quite far into the whole season, the first part of it anyway, and we've had a change of hardware. We had some technical issues last week that were unsurmountable, so we've replaced some stuff, and we've now just got some new bits of hardware, some new kits, got some new coding, and some new backgrounds, and yeah, still don't know why that we've got a bit of a delay in the camera. Seems to be up to date at the moment.
Oh, good.
Your head's wobbling.
Everyone's bouncing around. What are they doing?
We'll wait for Talbot to wake up. He will catch up eventually.
Yeah. Well, he's doing some busy. He's busily doing some admin at some point.
I was just checking if you're all good.
It's Talbot buffering.
He's checking his admin.
So yeah, how's everybody been? So I know we've been doing some Xboxing. I know you missed. I'll just slap the microphone, make it like I know that you missed we were late going on Thursday.
Yeah,
because
late.
Broadband was down.
Yeah. No interwebs.
Yeah, so that came back up fairly late. We've still got a few hours in, but so it's been 2 weeks since we saw you. Behind the camera.
Yeah, it would have been, because I didn't. I was here for the Thursday session, but I couldn't get on in time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would have been the previous, and we couldn't do the Sunday. So yeah, it's the previous Thursday.
That was the last Battlefield 4 as well.
Yeah, that was Battlefield 4,
Battlefield 4.
where I was absolutely fantastic. I feel like that was my raison d'être. That was really my mission in life because I excelled at that. I was noted for it, and it's going to be quite a transition moving up to Battlefield 5. But I'm sure I'll be exemplary as well.
You beat Talbot that week, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Comfortably. I
Yeah.
mean, you did every week.
Well,
who doesn't beat Talbot?
I mean, I don't want to use the word smashed, but I think I smashed.
I think you
Absolutely
smashed Talbot. I'll back you up on that.
Yeah. I think that's what happened. I seem to remember. Your roll's to heal
My role is to heal
with a gun. Healing bullets.
with many packs.
Well, I'll be quite clear. I mean, obviously, it's going to be a few days before you get to try Battlefield 5 out with us, and they haven't put team killing in yet.
Oh, good. Oh, that's not so good.
Well, it's good for me because I don't get consistently shot. And killed. But it's one of those sort of like, it's a dual-edged sword because I can't also punish Talbot beyond my my dark, cunning wit.
Yeah.
Which is, he's immune to.
Yeah. There you go.
Medic!
Yeah, perfect. Huh? Yeah, so...
I think I'm improving.
You're definitely bruising.
Yeah. Oh, look, I'm
All the words coming out.
I did see you operating an anti-aircraft gun that you looked really good, except you couldn't work out where the plane's from. How to find the planes.
Hear that?
Even though...
I looked very...
Even though the
That's a bit
planes
of a
came
way.
from the same direction every time, the same thing kept coming across us. Where's the planes? And they're coming from the left. They're always coming from the left. Look up in the sky on the left. And your gun was like...
So just making sure that there's no...
That's exactly right, except they're always coming from one direction. But you did every single time, every swarm that came across, you just checked for a few bombs worth and a few...
Like mirrors.
Yeah. Just enough to get about 20 paras down
Just in case.
time on the ground before you decide to try and shoot them. But I did see you shoot one plane down.
Did he?
Yeah. You shot one plane down. Oh.
He's pretending while looking at you, by the way, that Barogi isn't actually speaking to us in the chat.
Right, okay, yeah.
Bear is my favourite.
Oh, yeah.
Me and Bear get along. Me and Bear like this.
Is it really? We're
Yeah,
on top?
absolutely.
Bear thinks he's playing with you. The guy with the beard. And I went, with the goatee. He went, no, it's a man beard. That's what Bear said.
That's not a man beard, that's... No.
You've actually grown that since you got here 10 minutes ago, haven't you?
Yeah.
Didn't shave
Every other few minutes. I
every
don't
other...
even know what that means.
It's more than some, but not quite as much as a lot. So anyways, I thought that was pretty good. I thought everyone had fun on that. But I can't wait to get stuck in it because I'll be... Oh, fantastic.
Cortex Cat is with us.
Excellent.
Always sticks her arse to the camera, though. I don't know what message she's passing.
Yeah, I don't know. Look at that. Available.
Look at my man cave.
It's like, oh.
Right, let's see. The only thing is that the last time we pushed her off, to get her revenge, she ran to the end of the table and pulled down on the cable before sprinting away into the distance.
Yeah, biting it probably.
Yeah.
Attention seeking. So look at Battlefield 5. It's going to be fun. I'm going to be.
I'm having lots of.
Epic at it. If you haven't seen us on Battlefield 5, come and see us. It is non-stop laugh fest. And when we get player kills involved, even better.
Hardcore. That was the other thing, of course, is him sitting there going, "What's hardcore?" And Bear explaining, "Well, hardcore is basically if you get shot in the penis, you die."
Yeah, I heard
which
that
is a
bit.
good sort of
anyway,
an understanding.
Well, I mean, that you probably would die anyways. That's not hardcore. That's just generally life.
That's life. But you don't at the moment. You see, you can get shot in the penis many, many times, and you just laugh it off. But Talbot was like, "But isn't that what it's like now?"
Well, he's about to find out.
He will, because the first that happens, as soon as I find out that a team killing is on, I'm gonna have to show him, prove it, explain what team killing is all about in graphic. Oh, you noticed? As soon as I start up, it's like
Doesn't work. Just checking.
consistent knife stabbing. I don't know if you've noticed.
This
that.
is a flame.
Yeah, I can see it.
This is a flamethrower.
I'm literally going, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're like, mate, nothing. Oh. Yeah,
Really,
I see
Cass?
you try.
Really? This is the time? You've had all day to do this, but you've decided this is the time to come and have a sniff of her and a lick? Oi. Really?
Yeah, that's she's in for it.
I feel another hat coming on.
Well, we've got some heads up here as far as Battlefield 1, which, though I did play, we never broadcast, and I hated with a passion.
Really? I've never seen Battlefield 1. It's not just another version.
So Battlefield 1 was the... so Battlefield 4, then Battlefield 1 came out, so because that's how you do things.
Makes perfect
And,
sense.
that was World War 1,
Ah,
Battlefield 1. And I found it to be an horrendous game personally. And played it on PC, played it on Xbox, and really to prove a point that I really don't like this game, and stopped playing it, went back to Battlefield 4. Wasn't aware that they'd broken hardcore. Don't know how they've done it, how they can break hardcore on Battlefield 1. So there is a bit of controversy whether it's coming back at all, or if this mode that we're playing tonight, not tonight, but we've been playing, is in fact the only mode it's going to be. So we'll wait and see what happens. And of course, as Holt has just pointed out there, he doesn't get Tweedledee and Tweedledum. You haven't seen them yet, though. If you'd watched the broadcast the other night, he's found something that I personally find horrific in the game. I find it disturbing on a very high level. And
You mean Holt?
yeah, I found Holt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just,
Oh, it's Holt, run away.
Yeah.
So Holt keeps on dropping these things all over the battlefield, and I unfortunately seem to find them more often than not, whether he's on my side or otherwise, and have to stab, shoot, or blow them up in some way. It's disgusting, it really is. I'll let you see them for yourself on Thursday.
Right, okay. That's...
Except you've been there, you found them. You've actually ran across them repeatedly.
Yeah, eyes open, lights on, no one home. Well,
right. Well, we'll find out.
Right.
You'll find out even sooner.
We're on Tuesday, aren't we?
We're going to be doing Tuesday, yeah, because until such time as Red Dead 2 Online comes along, and we get to dress up as cowboys.
We'll get some
I saw your message.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've got a tricorn hat. That could be just a 17th century cowboy known as a pirate.
Pirate cowboy.
Pirate cowboy.
I've heard of ninja cowboys, and always think that cowboys would win. But then pirate cowboys, say I'm a real fan of pirates. Then cowboys, then ninjas, because they're the only three choices in the world.
Probably.
But yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Bounty hunters. I'm a bounty hunter. Nuked from space. I'm a bounty hunter.
Yes, that's a space cannon.
I've got a defensive carry. It doesn't matter. It's a space cannon. Yeah, but I can dodge. Yeah, it's a space cannon. Yeah, but I'm a bounty hunter. Yeah, half the city's obliterated in one blast. You're in it.
We'll not mention him until such time as we're so big and untouchable that we can.
That's right. Till we can afford the lawsuits and the hate and the disapproval and all that sort of stuff. Oh, I can afford that now. Don't mind that. You've been stared at by a cat.
So, right. Well,
anyways,
we are here, episode 9, recap of 8. We'll just do the final part, unless there's anything particular that jumps out from the first part in 8. The final part, of course, was you heading towards the outside of the town. You were just paused at the main hall.
Oh, yeah.
We've now got all cats. You've got the Psycho, the tank.
God.
The tank is just visible on camera. Mr. Flicky Monkey Tail has just walked off around. He's after slapping me around the knees a couple of times.
Yeah.
And Cortex cat is sitting here trying to hide behind a skull cup.
All of
This is not me actually talking about episode 8.
No, it's nothing to do with episode. It could be an interesting episode if we had Skull Monkey Cap with, like, what?
Cortex skull monkey
Cat and Tank Cat.
and tank cat and monkey tail cat.
Which God is this? It's abhorrent.
That's not going to move for a while.
No.
So yeah, what happened in episode 8?
Over to you.
What was not the whole thing, just what was the most poignant recap?
Caradak broke his left.
Caradak broke his left. That was episode 7.
Wasn't?
It was the end of episode 7.
It was, yeah.
It wasn't, he didn't break it, it was broken.
Is that his favourite hand?
Right? That was his favourite hand. That's his
Took it
private
personally, yeah.
hand. Yeah, so you don't remember at all what happened in episode 8.
Arvid and Caradak are now friends.
Arvid,
Arvid and Caradak.
that was episode 7.
Ulmakor beats Birdman. The bullet point.
That was episode 8.
Okay.
We're called Beat Birdman.
Meets.
Or Meet. That should be the episode name. Ulmakor meets Birdman.
Oh, it's got a Michael Keaton egg on.
Ulmakor meets Birdman. And then
Ulmakor met a Birdman and you killed a beastie.
We did 2 hours of intense
With a
role
spear.
playing, and that's what you got out of it.
Excellent.
with my awesome speed.
Okay. So while your right side of your brain was focused on talking there, and your left side was furiously working its way through episode 8.
Oh no, I'm just going to let it come in the moment.
Right, and now we're in the moment. Anything that stuck out?
Well, the fact that God, I've forgotten his name. Erstad
Drago.
Drago. My concern is that obviously he was he's intimately involved with this dark entity that came through the portal, or nearly came through the portal. At the end of the scene, as it closed, in the fire, you see a face of God, I've forgotten everyone's name. Ingvar, that's it. Yeah, Ingvar talking to him, which means I get the suspicion, the sense that they may be, in this together. Everything's pointing towards that this is not Semnothei business. This is not Semnothei methodology. This is not Semnothei work. This is something else. And that thing that I saw that nearly knocked me out, well, my reaction to it nearly knocked me out. Birdman. I can't really get terrified about Birdman.
Birdman doesn't worry me.
I wouldn't be bothered. Oh, watch out, Birdman's coming. Oh no, okay. Fair enough. Yeah. Quick. Get some...
Listen like a big bird.
No, he would actually petrify the crap out of me if I saw that moment.
Like,
yeah, no, that would get me every time.
The entire session of myself. Now I'm gonna picture Big Bird from Sesame Street every time.
I can't get
Bird, man.
But that's the thing is that at this session, the end of the last session, it's the realization that Ulmakor's got that basically the Semnothei is being corrupted here, but it's being corrupted from the top, which means how far does it go, and where they're dealing with something that I have never seen before, never experienced before, and it doesn't. And also, of course, it's at odds with what Tal told me that he wanted me to do, because Erstad wants to butcher everything and everyone, probably because of this dark entity. And I've been told by the Father of the Gods, in known circumstances, that the King and Queen will not die. They must not die. And therefore I'm going to be at odds with the fact that now I've got the head of my order and his representative on the ground here, who are obviously tangled with this thing, going to give me orders, or going to direct me otherwise. And how do I get out of that without me ending up on a slab with me guts hanging out, waiting to be burnt as well?
Caradak
Change. Gonna need a slap. Yeah.
Surprised you haven't.
When you just go,
Thomas, don't do that. No, it's not Birdman.
yeah. Okay. So You've headed back from so basically that's it really, isn't it, effectively. You've dealt with whatever the entity was in the
Cellar.
in the cellar. The dwarf formed, built, crafted.
Any of those words are
cellars,
good.
yeah, all of them. And none of them actually really are the one I'm after.
No.
Underneath Arvid's tent palace.
Tent Palace?
Yeah, I'm just going with it. See what every week I call it something different.
I was going to say, like, really? Tent Palace?
What did it start off with? Pleasure house.
Pleasure House? Yeah.
Tents of pleasure. Yeah, you give it that in a vlog.
But it's actually not a tent.
No, it's not a
It's
tent.
built around a house. So
It's multiple houses
Yeah.
hollowed out in the centre.
For whatever reason.
could really confuse your local, if you...
Real estate agent.
That's our visual.
And here we have a tent. That's not a tent.
It's a tent palace.
I'm very bad at my job.
Big tent? It's not a tent.
No,
No, not
never
at all.
was. It was described as houses. Why?
Caradak's gonna- This was never a tent.
Where did
Where did the tent go?
Oh my God, the tents have all gone.
Yeah, returns says.
Honestly, those
Arvid's,
tents.
definitely, he's reinforcing his position. Why? Well, you know that tent house. What? Yeah.
That's why I've been calling it tents.
And everyone's like, yeah.
Caradak's a nutter.
don't go near that. Victoria, he's bonkers. He thinks houses are tents. And he talks about this bird man.
Bird man.
The bird man in the tents.
An evil guy. Birds.
An evil guy that has birds. What did you see?
I don't know, that's how I'm visualizing it.
Who was this?
Don't know, but he was.
Hey, that was it.
What evil dude? No, wait. Start the scene again. Where did you see this guy? What was happening?
In the cellar.
Yeah.
Bigger.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Oh, look.
he had feathers and everything.
So, basically, the way it was described...
And he had a face of a bird.
But this is a dude who has birds.
He's basically a homely pigeon fancier who happened to come through. Hello there. I like
The old
pigeons.
pigeon guy.
He's an old pigeon... The old pigeon guy. It's the old pigeon guy.
Somehow the dramatic
They
sense
call
of
him
it and the
Pidgey.
sense of horror just comes down. Pigeon guy. Oh, the old guy.
Call him Pidgey for short.
He's got a few home pigeons. He goes to the crease on a Wednesday. All right, yeah. He must die. What, the old pigeon guy? We can't kill him. Not Frank.
So, the carrion pigeon thingy. Is that even... you see, you've ruined it for me now.
Yeah, I know. I've got Big Bird and a guy who keeps
Who
owning
likes pigeons?
Who keeps owning pigeons.
Yeah, the old guy that likes pigeons. He has them on the roof.
Why does this Warhammer stuff never work? It's just not realistic enough. It doesn't get quite dark and gothic enough. Oh, great. That's gonna be great. Yeah.
The thing is, they can't actually see... Can you just see a cat's head moving around the... Nah, nobody can actually see this cat.
Right. Just the parent. Yeah.
Kane, stop purring.
Yeah. He's really
I'm
happy.
Up until the point that those claws just embedded themselves. in
Oh
it.
yeah. Well, that just lets you know you're alive.
Let's see if it adds some character to my description.
Yeah.
As you approach,
As you approach the pigeon fancier of death.
Okay, they can't see a cat's head at that point. Right. You're out. Okay, so here we go. So
So does that
you
recap?
left-
Everyone needs.
So is that all up to date? It makes sense, right?
I mean, it doesn't make any sense, mate. But
I have
like,
no idea what's going on.
it's
I do remember the bullet points here that I've...
it was 2 weeks ago, and it's just obviously gone.
So you left Arvid's. Arvid's alive. You broke the portal.
He had a healer. Remember the healer?
Oh yes.
I had a wonderful healer that healed my hand, so now that's a...
Mm-hmm.
And
Like is no longer injured.
and his
Correct.
best hand's back again. And the healer has obviously got some skills that I was interested in, but it seems that they were prized as slaves.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to find out where he came from, and is there more like him? Well, I don't need a slave. I've got one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Bit
Are we?
Bit touchy on that subject, really.
Ow. Ow.
Get me more water. Why is it yellow? I didn't ask for that.
This is lemonade.
Is this doctor? No.
Ah, it must be lemon sip. Warm and yellow. All right. And yeah, so you leave Arvid's, and he basically, well, Caradak is pushing the boundaries of master and
He's
servant.
so gunny.
and then you stop at the main hall.
Yep.
And notice the bonfire burning across the bridge,
Yep.
and most of the town, the vast majority of the town, have already headed in that direction.
Yeah, chat about.
It wasn't so much a chat. It was you basically. It was Caradak basically having a hissy fit, effectively. He wasn't happy with the way that he was treated. He was questioning the Semnothei's methods. And basically, yeah.
Suggesting that it was like, did I think you were a slave?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's it.
Really, just the perfect time to be bringing it up. This is about to go against the dark entity. Before you go into battle, take your mind off it. Well, you very nearly had just like, you know,
Semnothei going on in his mind.
yeah, like Ulmakor doing the lances of pain.
From him.
What? Ovid doesn't kick him.
Ovid
the king doesn't kick him.
Yeah.
Didn't Ovid torture him?
No, he punched him.
Ovid punched him.
No, I didn't.
A lot.
No, actually, no. Ovid didn't.
Ovid never touched it, never harmed Caradak.
No,
the king's never done it. Get away from me. The queen hasn't. That one child that we saw running through the village.
Yeah.
Kicked us in the shin on the way past. So I get it from everywhere. Hey.
Alan, the guardsman, he likes you.
Yeah, Alan liked you.
Yeah.
Alan, Arthur.
Which one is it? Oh, okay.
Oh,
No, I've got Psycho thing behind me.
Yeah, you've got the tank. Come on with this shit. Alright, we're ready?
Yes.
I think so.
Okay.
No, not ready.
So in Reichdorf itself, it is obviously evening, well, night time. The sun is starting to go down. It is the lights are going. The torches have been lit, and the northeastern shore is aglow with a very large fire that's been built up. You can see most of the village, most of the town, have either already got there or are heading across the bridge. There is no sense of jovialty. There is no sense of celebration, as this is a requirement. This is a need. This is Ulrich has demanded the sacrifice of Alvar, the Unberogen champion, with which the sacrifice will allow King Bjorn and his wife Griselda to get to the Hag Mother in the Brackenwalch. It will make their journey easier. So it's not an actual demand. It was more of a, if you do this, they have a chance of getting there, because it is well believed that the Brackenwalch is cursed. It is a dark place given to nightmare, and is also the last known place for the Skriani, who King Bjorn's father managed to vanquish from the Reich Basin. They are still believed to be in this dark pit. So the Brackenwalch is a dark, fear-infested, harrowing location. And the sacrifice of Alvar will allow the king and his retinue to get there so that they may see the Hagmother, and therefore their child can be born. You are outside the Great Hall looking onwards. You finish your conversation about the Semnothei and its ways, as far as its interactions with Caradak, and you pause simply because you note some of King Bjorn's guards are still standing by the Great Hall in the doorway. And therefore you'd have been overheard.
Right. Oh, yeah. And we got the point where we could see the... You said I could see Erstad talking to Ingvar?
So from this location you can see the fire, and within the fire, because the fire is huge, within the fire you can see the face of
so
Ingvar.
We're talking massive bonfire.
Huge.
Right. And I know that I can see Erstad from this distance as well.
Yes.
How far are we away? Roughly, is he a little, like, you know, what scale are we talking, like 5-10 minutes? I just recognise his by his...
The fact is, you can, because you are connected to the gods themselves and to the magic that permeates the land. You can see that this is not a normal fire. If it was a normal fire, you would just see the fire itself. But when it is being used as a portal for communication amongst the Semnothei,
right,
it gives off there's a certain look, and each person has their own sort of signature, and you can see that it's Ingvar's within the flames.
Right. Okay, so we're getting close to the guards, or we're near the guards? The gods.
Guards.
Guards.
Guards. Not the gods, the
Yeah,
gods.
the guards.
Geordie.
Yeah.
So it sounds the same even to us. Gods. What? Yeah, I would say the Great Hall, so the gods are within hearing distance of your conversation, which is why.
I'll turn to one of them and say, is King Bjorn still inside, or has he made his way towards the ceremony?
No, my lord, the king is at the ceremony. This is, we are waiting Queen Griselda.
She'll be joining later, or she's staying abed?
She will be staying within the hall. Alvar is bidding farewell.
And you're here to protect her?
We're here to make sure that she is okay. However, we are going to be escorting Alvar to the fire.
And then who's left to stay with the queen?
Just her handmaidens.
I think, okay. Thank you for that. Just turn and just say to bring Caradak over. I don't think this is a good idea to leave Queen Griselda. You remember what Tal said? She'll be completely alone and unprotected. I think in this stage, what we're going to do is we're going to escort Alvar to the ceremony, and these guards are going to be charged with protecting Queen Griselda. Technically, that makes sense. As much as anyone, but we can trust them more than having no protection, which would be guaranteed if all she has is handmaidens. Do you see any other option? Heavily pregnant woman heading towards whatever that is over on the other side of the... I don't know if that would be a good thing, necessarily, to bring her even closer to that. In terms of protecting her and the king at the same time. With some protection, with some guardsmen, though. You think she should be unprotected?
Pause there. Yep, you're not being picked up.
Who's not being picked up?
Talbot. Yep, you got picked up there. You were just talking too quietly, mate.
Okay.
You're on 100%. You can't whisper. Just let us know if you're whispering.
Okay.
If you do actually genuinely whisper, even...
Yeah.
It's
Well,
just
were
not being
we
picked
both
up.
not being picked up?
No, you're fine.
Right.
From what I could see. You're a man.
Man, with his rugged beard.
Yeah.
Let's just see if I put your gain up. You're already at 10.
Can you hear me now? This tone, alright.
I can hear you fine.
Just talk.
That'd be weird.
Try to
Do that
do
whisper.
that tone again.
I think it's tone. Is that right?
Okay,
Okay.
I'll put your gain up to dog level.
Dog level.
Yeah, like dogs are now literally screeching in the distance.
Yeah.
Can be picked up if I decide to go this.
Yes.
That's hopefully there's not going to be any shouting coming up, else people are going to be...
Yeah, if you raise your voice. Yeah, boom, fire. Great, try again.
Right.
They didn't hear any of that.
Okay.
So that means you can make it up as you go on.
Right.
If you can't remember what you said.
I can't remember what I said.
So, you said,
I'm
we're not
just-
going to leave the queen. She's
We're not-
heavily pregnant. And remember, Tal's, we can't leave her alone.
Yeah. And I don't want to buy herself, and you're saying...
Okay, yeah. Okay, I know where I am.
That went red.
Did it. So, I tell you what, just to get it normal, and I'll just raise my voice, because I probably was
You were whispering.
whispering.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
You need to whisper with a man's voice.
The problem I've always had.
Yeah.
I think that the main thing is we found out earlier is if you're going to shout, if you're going to whisper something, I whisper this, I
whisper.
shout that, and just
Yeah.
try to get out there.
Yeah.
Oh, no screaming out in the middle of nowhere.
No, because last time you screamed, even now to this day, when I actually I'm editing and I hear that thing comes up, I still jump, and I know it's coming. At one point, I was actually trying to edit it so that I only got that scream, and I jumped every time. It's horrendous.
Right.
What I mean, the Queen. Stop it.
Queen. Okay. Come on.
Get in the game.
Get in the game.
Get in the game.
Run a moment. Roll some
Someday,
dice. Make you feel
I'm
better.
going to get the giggles, and that'll be me gone. Oh, stop it.
Sacrifice.
I don't even know where that came from.
The Queen. It's the
Queen. I'm glad this has just started. It's not a really big scene because it'd be like, and there goes the moment.
Hello, Queenie.
Talbot corpses on a weekly basis.
Right.
I fart in your general
And
direction.
Pause.
Compose. That's
Right.
it. Yeah. Think madly. Don't think of the Queen. The Queen.
It's not helping.
It's
It's just not helping.
but it makes me feel better. So you know, we're having a laugh at your expense. Don't worry. We're laughing at you, not with you. It's okay.
What I mean is, just that just a one.
No, you're exactly wrong. Estad wants the king and queen to meet arm. So we need to protect her. He's talking about sacrificing both of them at the same event. You may not recall. It is of no matter. I think that she needs protection. We are going to escort Alvar to meet Ulrich. As is only right and proper, and fit for such a champion.
I agree.
I
should prepare.
As you see fit.
I will take my leave.
Where are you going to go? You just seem to leave it everywhere random.
I do just go, oh, there it is. Oh, there's me home. I've actually got a spear.
Yes.
Got my spear.
Yeah.
Got my spear. Assuming I left my...
It'll be in the main hall, near the stairs up. Or that
I'll ask some... I'll ask...
gather
my gear.
Because
I'll
they'll always
prepare.
know
Yeah.
where you've left it.
We're random.
And bring it to Ulmakor's chambers.
Gather my gear. I'll... yeah.
Yeah, because you are going to, as we discovered, you are going to be doing the sacrifice of Alva. Yeah, okay. And you are doing...
Talking to the two guardsmen.
Okay.
Going to the two guardsmen, say, this is a direct command from me. You will stay here and protect the queen. We will escort Alvar to the ceremony. He's in perfectly fine hands with myself and the Victari. You will stay here and you will protect the queen. Is it understood?
Yes, my lord.
Good. Then we'll head inside to wait until Caradak's finished his rituals and got him. So I'll just be in the main hall and I'll get a pint of something frothy because I feel I'm saying. Well, I think this just out loud. I think this is going to be a bit of a tense night. Some ale, please.
Okay. Tankard is brought forward immediately and ale provided. You've obviously gone on ahead and walked into Ulmakor's chambers where your armour, shield are provided. Yeah?
Yeah. Yes?
Okay. Yeah. All right. So it's brought in.
Okay, well, I'll go and...
Mm-hmm. Right.
Ulmakor wants...
Okay.
There is one thing, Caradak, in the matter of what is going to transpire tonight. Under no uncertain circumstances is Alvin to suffer. He's to have a warrior's death. Irrespective of what you may hear from Erstad, it is to be quick, clean, befitting his stature and his venerable work that he has carried out for this royal line over many decades. Is that understood?
Understood.
Right. I will go after I've given that. I'll get myself up and go towards the Queen's chambers.
Yep.
And knock on the door.
Okay, right.
And see and hail her.
Bring it up to your mouth. How could that not, as a mind goes, how could you not know what I was doing there?
I don't know what you were doing. I thought
Really?
it was already close to my
Did you
mouth.
get that?
I did, but I can't.
What the hell?
I couldn't see it. It's alright.
No? Does that look anything like what I'm doing? Am I?
Put it in front of your mouth.
Does it still look like anything?
I don't put it too close because then does my nose blow on it?
They can't hear.
They can't hear at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the stream is lit up with people. 2 people. Baroki.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hulk is saying you should eat it.
I never used to have it this close.
What can I tell you?
Tell me why.
Tell me sweet little lies.
Right. I'll knock on her door, on the Queen's doors.
I'm going to take...
That's in my face.
It really is... Oh.
I can't see. It's like then I can see me feel the vision and it's annoying. There, I was alright.
But they couldn't hear you.
Yeah.
You have to you have to enunciate clearer if you're gonna have it down.
Okay.
Well, that's what I mean. You need to lift it up if.
Is that better?
I don't know.
Oh.
Meanwhile,
back in the store.
so
There's a lot of advert breaks in this one, isn't
I'm
there?
glad we advertise ourselves as being in the moment for 2 hours.
Yeah, no. Oh.
Right.
Well, we have moments for 2 hours, but that's the best way of putting it.
Now we're going to turn the game down. Oh, you know what's going to be like when we're introduced...
Someone will have to eat it at that point.
What's it going to be like when we bring on the silent one?
Just a serious,
You're gonna have serious issues.
mine. We'll have to learn sign language.
You won't even see him. You'll just be surrounded by cameras in the event that it can pick him up. Right.
Yeah.
Outside the Queen. Knock it.
You don't scream now. I've turned you... Right. So you've gone to the Queen's chambers. You knock upon the door.
Yep.
The door is open. There is a young woman. She's in a one-piece leather belt, servant's clothing, hair braided. She looks up at you. She has a dagger at her side, which is unusual for servants.
Right.
An indication of a guard, whether she's trained or not, of course, you have no idea, or probably don't care.
Right.
She opens the door just enough to be seen. You can see that she's got her body against the door to at least slow down, if not stop, an unexpected door shove.
Yep.
So she is on guard.
Right.
However, as the door opens, she looks out. You note a complete lack of sound. There is no audio. You cannot hear anybody in the room with her.
All right. Is your mistress within?
She is, my lord. She is, my lord.
Yeah.
She is, my lord. Hello.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound quite right, that.
Got a large beard for a serving lady. What big hands you have.
George.
May I have an audience with her for a brief moment?
If you can just wait for a moment and I shall announce you. She closes the door. You can hear the slippered feet as she moves away, soft footfalls, and you can hear muffled voices from within. And there's a male voice can be heard, though you can't quite understand. You can't hear what's being said. And then a couple of moments later, you can hear just those footsteps approach the door, and a bolt is thrown back. The door opened. You've been in this chamber. You haven't been in this chamber since your recent visit. So you're not surprised to find it is not the way you remembered it, which was that you literally move. You know, when this chamber used to just be dominated by a bed and some benches, etc. You know that the overall hall itself has been expanded upon. At this site, in this area here, you can see a table that can seat a dozen people. At one end, there is each chair. So the chairs are well carved, but at one end is a chair that is more time has been spent on its carving. The room itself looks to be a living room of some kind, a room where a family can gather and sit. It's an extension of the Great Hall itself, but on a smaller scale, effectively. and then you can see that there's some weaving materials and machinery, the loom, as it were, for the hand loom, where the women will work and make blankets, etc. And then you see there's an archway, hanging beads fall down from it, and it's a darker room on the inside. With the absence of a bed, you assume, or would, at this point, the only thing they can see is that this is an area for a family to gather,
right,
to still be in private, and the bedchamber is further back. In this room, you see 4 women, similar to the one beforehand, and dismissing them as you do. They are servant class. You see, as your eye quickly passes over them, each one of them is armed with a long knife, and sitting in a heavily hide-covered chair, you see Queen Griselda, kneeling before her is Alvar.
right.
Alvar is in a white shirt. It is untucked and hangs down past his trousers, which are themselves tucked into his boots. He, apart from leather straps around his wrists, he seems to be unarmed. His hair has been freshly oiled and has been braided down the back and shaved on the left side of his head. At least that's what you see. It's likely the right side has been shaved as well, you just can't see it.
Right. Okay.
His head is slightly bowed. The Queen, you note, has her hand on his shoulder. Her face is, it has not got its usual ruddy, healthy complexion, is pale, and you can see that she has recently been crying. Her eyes are bloodshot and swollen.
Right. I'll walk through the servants, so I'm not shouting, and then basically hail her. And Queen Griselda, just to inform you that as part of the proceedings tonight, I have detailed that the 2 guards on the door will now be outside your door to give you extra protection on this night, and that myself and the Vaktari will escort Alvar to the ceremony as is befitting his station.
Thank you, Semnothei. It is just too much for me to make this journey tonight. I thank you for your kindness. Is the Vaktari? You can see her face is saddened as she talks. She is holding back emotions as best she can. Is this Vaktari with you?
He is. He's preparing himself in my antechambers as we speak. He is very skilled.
They say that of the Vaktari, that they are well trained, that they are killers. Yet it still feels wrong, Semnothei.
The ways of the gods are not all known to everyone, including ourselves. Sometimes their purposes are sheathed in mystery, in the mists of only what they know. However, this message has come direct from Ulrich, and Alvar has shown great courage to accept that, and in doing so will help you and your unborn child.
I just feel that it is a waste. Alvar has watched out for the Unberogen since my king's father's days. That being on the road with us, sword in hand, and dying as a warrior should against the Scranian, our ancient enemy, perhaps would be the better way. It seems that Ulrich that I know would not call for such a thing.
All men die. It is the way of things. Some men die pitifully, wasted, quietly, useless. Some die screaming in battle, in keeping and befitting Ulrich's way. Some out in the woods, hunting beasts gored perhaps by a boar, and keeping with Tal's way. Arvin's his life will end serving Ulrich directly, with a message directly from Ulrich. It is the way of Ulrich. It is his message, and it is his journey. He doesn't get to die meekly, an old man, frail, shitting himself in his bed. He gets to go out like a warrior.
You're aware that generally the situation when it comes to the sacrifice, or basically when people are called upon, there's going to be in some cases the family that's been I suppose their demand is upon them. There'll be a sadness, but there's generally a rejoicing as well, because it is a massive honour. Or at least that's, the whole point of the Semnothei. I've pushed that it's a massive honour for family and friends to sacrifice. It's of days of old. There was sacrifice done when it was on the eve of battle. Every few years or so, there could be even larger. It's normally a time of celebration, that because they are going to be with the gods. You have come across fear, you've come across upset and worries in that sense, but this is different. This seems to be a something just doesn't sit quite right. Not in a wrong way, it's not in a negative way. Just there's far too much emotion. There's too much upset. The king's obviously, you can understand the king was brought up by this man and his father, but the champion, no doubt, is the one that taught King Bjorn how to fight. He was always there. He'll have been the champion. The queen, on the other hand, there seems to be there's a bit of a connection there. You can't help but notice this. It's too much of a smack in the face for you, as far as you're concerned, to be able to see. He is Alvar in himself has yet to move. He kneels before the queen. His head is bowed. You can see his arms are in front of him, on his knee as he kneels forward. He is not turned to look at you. He's not acknowledged you. In itself, that's not necessarily an insult anyway. You don't demand that they stand in your presence. It's just something they do out of fear. But the room is literally just got that really heavy silence about it, where you've normally had to give over some seriously bad news. And the venom, I suppose, or the venomance within the queen's voice is, it's punctuated by genuine anger.
I will give you a few more moments, and when my Vakhtari has completed his ointments and his unguents, we will come back and collect Alvar and take him to the ceremony. You will have an extra couple of guards outside to protect you, and we will see when it's done.
Semnothei.
And I'll turn around and head out and see what he's up to. Oh, right, you...
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Wait 2 seconds. Don't want to just walk out the door and come straight back in. Make it quick, yes?
Understood.
Right, turn around. Is the door barred or is it still open?
It's still wide open, yeah.
All right, there.
Yeah, you're basically standing there, alright, and you can see that the woman that originally opened the door is actually standing there looking, her head is down. When you start to talk, you see that the woman behind him looks up at you, and then sort of looks over her shoulder but doesn't move her from her position as she looks back.
Right, I'll turn and call. Alvar, it's time.
You, from the doorway, you can still see Alvar. Alvar looks up. You're seeing this from behind him, obviously. You see him look up. The queen looks down. You can see her hand is still is on his shoulder, and you see his left hand, the way that it is. You can see his fingers come up underneath her hand. You can see the grip for a moment. He then stands. He's still got his back is straight. He is still powerfully built, though obviously in the twilight of his years, especially for a warrior, he's lived a long, very long life. He turns and his face is stoic. It is stone-like. Your eagle-like vision notes that his right hand is clenched, his knuckles white. You can see something he's gripping something in his right hand. His left hand, obviously as he stands, he disengages from the queen's hand. His left hand goes to his shirt as if to hook into a belt. For a moment, realizing there's not one, he fumbles for a moment. His eyes are distracted. It's the only sign that you see that he's going into something that's obviously can be bowel loosening for a lot of people, knowing that you are going to die, even if it is for a god. He takes a couple of steps forward and turns one last time, and you can see that there is a strength in this man, a nobility, and his eyes are soft and full of compassion. He looks at the queen one more time before turning away and walking towards you. As he gets close, you can't help but sort of see there's a moment there. The resemblance is uncanny. You can't help but see the sort of the power behind this man's visage, his entire presence. He is and has he goes out as he lived his life. He is a champion, and he literally owned that title. He wore it like a cloak. So Semnothei, since I am now to be sacrificed to the gods, and I cannot think of a greater way to go, helping my family, my tribe. I hope you don't take it personally that I won't stand on ceremony, but your lot are a bunch of bastards. He smiles, and it's a good-natured thing. You know, it's a basic. I'm out the door.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah. What more can you do?
Before you can reply, he looks past you at the stoic guardian beside you. Victoria, we never got a chance to have that conversation or share that ale. You walk a path that's full of danger, my friend. I promise you now I shall wait for you. And I shall walk that final path with you when it is time. Do me proud, my friend. See me into the realms of Ulrich, and see it done quickly. Not a butcher's strike, a warrior, a soldier's strike. And he walks past you. You, unless you're going to stand in his way, will be forced to step to one side.
No, I'll step down.
He walks straight past, back straight, head held high, and effectively marches down the main hall, his pride making him take each step. But as he does walk by, you can see that there's a calmness in him that's not forced. Whatever he just did, that moment for him of saying goodbye to the Queen, he's shed the softness, that sad introspection that was upon him, and now walks towards this final battle.
Right, well, we don't want to get too far behind him. We're not going to be scampering after him.
What was the Queen doing? So as he
The Queen,
passed?
her head is sunken. You can see her sobbing, her shoulders rising with each racked sob. A couple of her serving girls have gone to her side. You know that the Queen is a warrior in her own right, a strong woman, a woman that believes in the gods and believes in the Unberogans. To see her broken such is, it's a sad day indeed for the Unberogans.
Before take my leave, I'm sort of off. Put a side on. I'm not facing. I've left Alvar.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll just call out Queen Griselda.
She looks up, stares you in the eye.
I will do him justice.
See that you do, Victoria.
Stand to attention. Turn. Falling behind Alvar.
The last thing you see in the room is the Queen looking upon you. She doesn't look at you with anger. She looks at you, if anything, with a deep sadness.
We're going to follow after him,
yep.
So we're not scampering after him.
Yep.
And just follow him as we head out. As we head out through the doors, if the two guards still there?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Used to go and stand outside the Queen's quarters. Don't leave there at all. You're there to protect her. Understood?
Semnothei.
And get those moving.
They walk in.
Yep.
Pass you by as you stand upon the step.
Look out over the bonfire in the distance.
Huge, dominating, powerful. The horizon is aglow and red. You've seen armies war upon each other. You've seen villages burn. It is a conflagration of epic proportions.
And we're out of keeping with the normal ceremonies that we do for this.
Vastly so.
We are keeping. Although you see your mark, you know where it is. Shall we?
It seems that the king is truly opening the doors to Ulrich's realm for me. He must be melting the snows upon the mountains, so that my passing is with style.
You're going to go out like no other Unberogen warrior ever has, and probably ever will.
Then let me do my king and my god proud. He wanders up he starts walking, not wanders.
Yeah.
That gives a sense of non-purpose. This is a walk of purpose.
Just check out the,
with you flanking him, I assume left and right.
Mm-hmm.
You leave the town proper and approach the new gate and the high walls of Reichdorf. On passing through them, you note that it still has guards upon the upper battlements looking out. Each of them is carrying shield and spear, wearing armour. You pass under the gate, which is swung up, and onto the bridge. after a short walk, you pass by this branch of the Reich, this huge dominating river which is to your left side. The fire is very clearly visible opposite you. It is huge. A lot of the big heavy tree timbers have been stacked high. There is a huge amount of undergrowth all packed in. This is a conflagration. You can feel the heat. The sky itself is lit up with a red dull glow, and you can see, you can hear the popping of the timber, of water and of air inside these huge timber pieces, cross beams, etc., that are just burning with such an intense heat. You see clearly within the flames Ingvar's visage. The fire, the heat coming from the fire is such that people are not able to get close. You realise, the sacrifice is with a blade. You know that Caradak has been assigned to be the executioner. The fire is literally, or traditionally in this sense, when the sacrifice is at night, is literally just normally a pyre, a burning pyre for the corpse, and it's also as a signifier to whichever god is the sacrifice is being made to be an indication to look favourably upon the proceedings. This is ridiculous. This is huge. There's no way you can get close enough without hair and clothing literally possibly exploding in fire. In flame itself, it is huge. The heat can be felt as you cross this aspect of the bridge. The river below you sluggishly moves outwards from right to left, and within it you see the reflection of the flame, which you approach. Urstadt is visible before the fire, not too close obviously. You can see that he cavorts and throws himself in a sort of in a slight semicircle, the ground churned up to mud beneath his bare feet. He is mud spattered and wearing the hide of a stag. However, clasped on a stick before him, you see that he also has the head of a wolf. The wolf head is kept in shape by a wicker work of wood beneath, and he cavorts it before his face. He recognizes Tal by by the helm, but the wolf head upon the stave is because the sacrifice is to Ulrich itself, or him itself, him. You can hear him calling out, chanting in the Semnothei language, calling for Ulrich's gaze to be upon this moment. His song, his chant is coming to a crescendo as you approach. Obviously, given into the ritual. The ritual lasts just as long as it needs to. And the approach of the sacrifice of Alvar is obviously preordained, or so the Semnothei would show and approve.
Yeah.
The village, the town, the people that have showed up are drunk. They're drinking. They've already feasted before they came to this particular thing, but they're not dancing around. Ulstadt is the only one that's moving around and dancing, cavorting in front of the fire. The townspeople are subdued. They are fed. They've had their fill of drink, and you know that at a moment like this, they will have taken various different fruits, various different herbs, to help them get closer to the aspect of their god, so that they can feel his presence. And this drug will have been administered, will have been given by Urstadt prior to the ceremony. And so as you start moving down through the crowd, which is parted, you can see their eyes are glazed. They are daubed in dry paint down their face and across their bare chests, their legs and arms. Wherever skin is visible, markings have been given, each one a variation on so many different levels. Each one given as a personal tribute to Ulrich. It's done in blues and reds. It's not tattooing, it's just markings done with various paints. Each family having created their own, using their own styles. Head coverings are of antlers and wolf pelts, and all in all, they're basically they're a representation of nature, both Tal the father as well as Ulrich the son. As you close Alvar before you, you can see his left hand is out, palm outwards, fingers out. He's moving forward. His right hand, however, though the arm is at the same level, is clenched in a fist. Are you right or left side?
I'd be on his left side.
So your river side.
Yep.
Your right side, land side. So you can see that the fist is clearly clenched before you. Erstad turns and he stops. He moves forward. It's a skittering-like approach. He's moving quickly on the front of his feet. He's not walking, sort of moving backwards and forwards as he approaches and moves around Alvar. He's taken a couple of steps forward, and you allow him to pass by. There's a strong smell of urine on him, fecal matter, and he is literally just covered in mud as well as these two pelts. He waves the wolf's head before you, Alvar, while still calling out to Ulrich. You understand the language he's speaking to. To you, you know it's the language of the gods, or the language that the Semnothei use to communicate with the gods. Drums are taken up. You hear the heavy beat. Seems to be the onset of a ginormous heart. The beat is slow and rhythmic, and will increase until such time as that it becomes just this crescendo of sound, which will be the point where it stops, and that's when the blade is to be it would strike Alvar. You know sacrifices, you've seen them before. There's nothing beyond the scale of this that looks any different. Erstad proffers his hand to Alvar. You know it to be a drug that will help him perceive the realm of the gods prior to his strike. You know it also dulls the senses and makes the sacrifice easier to manipulate. Alvar refuses. Erstad, you see his face even through the cowl of the antlers, and the stag's head is upset. He's put out by it and turns to the fire. He turns to the fire and looks. Do you see Ingvar? Ingvar's voice is clearly heard to you.
Right. Not to everyone. No. Just
you hear Ingvar. Be quick before you lose the crowd, Erstad. There is always time for ceremony later. Erstad turns, looks at you. Caradak, bring forward the sacrifice. And he skitters back. You see steam rising from the pelt on his back.
Semnothei. I guide Alvar to the pot. As I'm guiding him, I sort of whisper to him, do you have any regrets, Alvar?
Only that my son did not know his father. You take another step forward, Erstad stands 6 paces forward, arms out, pointing towards the mountains, not up to the sky, but up at the mountains themselves that dwarf the right area, basin.
We're meeting.
No. No, he's not there yet. I know this, my friend. Erstad's voice croaks out as you talk. Where's the Queen? The Queen should be here. It is an affront to the gods for the Queen not to be here at the sacrifice. The King is here. Where's his Queen?
I'll step forward and say to Erstad. Erstad, the Queen cannot make a journey at this stage. it would be an affront also to Tal, the god of plenty, the god of the wilderness, the god of bearing of fruits, for the fruit of the king's loins to be suffering for this process. She stays where she is.
As Tal commands. As Tal commands. He shouts after. Listening. You've approached. Alva kneels.
What would you tell him? Perhaps our paths will cross on these words. What would you say to us?
To my son, I would say that I am sorry that the gods had spoken. I am sorry that I could not be with him as he grew up. But I am glad that I got to see him a man grown. Caradak. He looks up, and Urstat, you see his eyes have turned. He's now noted that he's talking.
Sorry, who said Caradak?
Alva.
Oh, okay.
Right. But as you look up, you see Alva's looked. Urstat's seen that he's talking. Displeased is the least of you. You can see he's enraged. He starts coming towards you. Say to your Semnothei master, that Alvar forgives his son, that his son should know before the end. He bows down. Urstat's voice, screeching. And now comes the time! The gods approach. Ulrich looks upon us. The sacrifice must be now, or all shall fall. Ulrich has spoken. He does not seek the king or the queen. He seeks the champion, and before us we have him. And a mighty sacrifice this will be. Before the moon is at its fullest tomorrow, the king must be on the path to the Brackenwalch. Bactari! Now! Okay. What does anyone see?
So, as soon as he says now...
You stand like this. So basically you've got Alva kneeling. You're behind. Urstat's approaching. His arms are thrown up in the air. Victory! Now!
And I ready my spear.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh my god!
I ready my spear. Goodbye, Alvo.
He's got his head down, revealing his neck. His shirt's loose around his shoulders.
And I throw my spear at Urstat.
What?
The spear slices through the air.
I just immediately, the second I let go of my spear, I jump over Alva and run towards Urstat.
The spear slams straight into the centre, into his chest. Urstat is a small, fat, greasy dude at best, but he was not in any way did he have his back foot, in preparation for this. No matter who you are, this is a spear thrown with an alpha male's perfect throwing strength. A spear thrower by trade. The spear slams into Urstat's chest, who is pitched backwards. Instead of being thrown to the ground, the spear penetrates straight through his chest, bursts out through his back. Even as time seems to slow down, the blood spray can be seen, almost evaporating, it seems, with the great heat behind him. He staggers back. He's thrown back, but he lands on his feet, still staggering. Looking down, his hands clench a hold of the spear. You can see the steam starts to turn to smoke. The hide starts to crisp. the fur and the hair becoming tight curls as you take a run. You jump over Alvar, quick stride as you are 5-6 steps. People are still shocked, mouth open. You see him nearly passes the half distance before your brain registers actually what's happening, well before anybody else's. What are you doing as you run? You just
full sprint.
Okay. You've got literally a second before Urstad, but Urstad is already skewered. The spear has passed through him at least 2 foot.
I'm actually
2 foot, about 3-4 foot of spears out the back of Urstad.
I'm gonna, in a glance, try to catch the fire with Ingvar to see whether because he's maybe watching, and then spin around and look at everyone. I'm desperately trying to gauge: is everyone just like, or is everyone like, or is everyone like, oh? I'm trying to just like
mixed. Some people are like, yay. Others are going. Some that have registered, but nobody's physically moved.
Right. Okay. So
I'm
just gonna let him do what he has to do.
You get to him. You spin. You see people are going. Like some that would just happen to be looking and going. It's just fulminating. What have I just seen? Nobody at all that is your eyes cast about them has got anywhere near the speed of mind to even work out, register what's just happened.
Right.
On some base level, some of them are aware that's not normal. None of them have actually just cottoned on that a spear has been thrown through a Semnothei, through a Zakonik. You're onto him. The spear is, it's a 6 foot long spear. Yeah, 3 foot of it is coming out the back of him, a foot within him, perhaps. So that you've got most of it is in or past him. That's how hard you threw this thing straight through his frail body. You obviously get to it.
Yeah, well, as soon as I'm running, I'm running in one more, I'll get out my sword as I'm running, and I'm
just the one.
And I go past, slice one side of the neck, spin around the other side, get round the front, so full 360 around him, and turn the blade and just hack.
Okay, so the left sword is still
so
sheathed.
Yeah, left is sheathed, so I'll go past, right, slice one side of his neck, full 360, change of grip, and just hack at the other side.
You slide through the mud. You can feel the heat of the mud on your feet from this great fire. You are well within the heat radius of this blaze, but you're so fast that you've literally cut through the staggering Urstad's neck. You can feel your nostril hairs have instantly crisped. Your eyes feel like they're drying out. You find it immediately impossible to breathe. Aware of this, no doubt you've taken a breath. And as you still slide past, you've spun and you've come back with that last strike. The body is taking that moment extra step, but the head, as the blade slices through, comes away with the edge of the blade and rolls. A spray of blood catches you across the face as the head rolls into the mud and up to the fire. You were so fast, your blade's so sharp that you've cut through the hide of the deer, but you also cut through the actual handle of the wolf's head, which clumps to hits the ground and rolls to face you by your feet, staring up at you. The body leans to one side and collapses to the floor. There's a roaring in your ears. The heat is crisping the backs of your bare legs and your neck.
I will ignore it. Any pain right now. Flick both blades, resheath them, pick up the head, and throw it into the fire.
So reaching back to Urstad.
Let's go out, reach back, and just throw it in the fire and glare.
From your point, you see as he throws the head into the fire, which immediately is engulfed by the flame. The mouth open, flames burst. The eyes are boiled away immediately. The skin is slothed immediately from the bone, which everything just goes up in a horrible stenching flame. And you see, for that moment, casting both light and shadow, you can see the Vaktar is standing, defiant, unarmed before the fire, staring at the flames. No doubt in your mind that he cannot see what looks back, as the face, giant in scale, of Ingvar glares with absolute fear. His teeth bared, mouth open, It's not shock, it's absolute fear. And then it starts to retract, but you can see that its visage is looking within the flames before it vanishes entirely.
Right.
The fire, instead of burning you, and you can feel the heat, you can feel your hair is singeing. It is literally burning at this point. The leather cracks, and then, as if something is thrown upon the flames itself of such a massive scale, you see the fire, the flames wither, and then it's sucked. You can feel it like an air being pulled upon you, and with it the sound of rushing air, and the fire's gone, leaving this scorched black wood piled high, and with it the light.
Right. At that point, I'm raising my hands up in the air
As the screaming starts.
as I'm shouting, and a voice using our powers to expand that voice as if it, make it go further than it humanly possible, as it were, to in the distance, and creating light where possible. So it looks like there's light coming down on me, but it's coming all around me. And I'll shout, "Oh, Father Tal!" Oh, not too loud. Father Tal, thank you for this guidance on this night. Thank you for understanding that the level of sacrifice required for the king could not be provided by its champion, as great as he was, but it needed the very blood of the Semnothei of the court to be shed to ensure that the king and the queen remain safe. Thank you for this guidance. Thank you for letting me know beforehand that this was going to happen, and that we were all aware that what was going to happen. You are so wise, Father Tal. And then I let it disappear.
I'll walk towards Alvar.
Alvar's standing at this point, staring at the seventh eye. He sees you as you approach, as you finish. There's a silence, and then the crowd erupts in a roar, a cheer. And then the drums start again, and they start dancing, people rushing forward. You've got to Alvar as the crowd literally just ascends. There's hundreds of people here, all just crowding into this big group, all trying to, making a rather detour around the Semnothei, but all wanting to touch Alvar, they want to touch you. There's a cheering and laughter, and suddenly it goes from a sober, sad though, strangely happy but subdued occurrence to absolute raptures. Now the Semnothei themselves are sacrificed. Nobody has ever seen this. It just shows how powerful the Unberogans are, how important the king is, how important his unborn child must be to the future of the tribe. You still get to him before the crowd descends upon you, but you are being jostled, and you just stand there confused. What just happened there, Victoria?
It was pretty poor. I think you need a second chance.
If I'd known, I would have rehearsed.
Yourself.
Maybe one day I will now.
You should. Otherwise, all of this was for absolutely nothing.
Wise words, my young friend. Then perhaps we will get this ale. Now, do the gods speak true that the Semnothei blood had to be spilled, in which case, does the king still need to leave by tomorrow? Because I will be with him this day. I shall travel with you, because I understood you were to go to the Brackenvalch as well. You're standing alone on a crowded field.
no one wants to say hello to me.
No. You find it difficult, but you start moving through the crowd. Everyone's patting them on the back, and you can see the crowd starts to head across the bridge, and there's just a raised level of happiness. There's no longer that heavy stress, that heavy anger and upset even you were carrying on your shoulders. That an entire town, such a large town, so many people were feeling such remorse it was a physical thing. You could physically, not until it's been lifted, did you realise you were physically carrying this weight, that it was manifesting itself in the real realm. It's gone. It's dissipated. There's a sense of hope, of happiness. Some people even, you note, more than one, nearly forget themselves and go, you know, that sort of half handshake, high five, all right, I'm off, as they move away. But you feel this wave of new worship, this wave of happiness, of pleasure, wash across you. You've never felt emotion, both in a negative and a positive way, in such magnitude, manifest. But you're also aware that emotion in itself shouldn't have a physical representation. And you can feel everything. You can just feel it like a power around you. And then Alvar and Caradak approach through the crowd.
Right.
You see Alvar is, the Vakhtari is suited. He is black marked and scored. His leather armour is charred. His hair is burnt to the quick. He's literally down to bristles. He was too close to that fire, but he seems to be oblivious to it. Minor burning, but like the back of his legs and his neck and some to his face now when he turned towards the fire. Minor injuries that he'll heal from, but his hair definitely melted, burned to the scalp.
As he's getting across, I'll just shout at him, Bakhtari, you may need to seek the healer at Arvin's place to cover some of these ailments. It would be best done sooner rather than later, because we'll have to be on the road tomorrow. Alvar, sorry and forgive me that you had to go through that process. The gods move in mysterious ways. Father Tal, only at the last moment, as we were heading across, brought to me this message. Would be necessary to make sure that the king. You live to fight another day, my friend, and I believe it would be suitable if you would accompany us.
Thank you, Semnothei. It is my place that I still stand, that I will still follow my king into such a place. The Skriani I hear are still there. The Brackenvalch is a dark place, and if a king and queen and their unborn child go, then I will follow. But perhaps you'll answer me this. Did the Zakonik know? Because he seemed to be surprised.
No, he didn't. Because it was not necessary. Tal did not deem it necessary. Tal deemed it necessary that he give his life and spill his blood. That's sufficient for you.
Obviously. Another question, though.
Really? Say.
It seems that if Ulrich wished me to die, he would have told you this already. He's got a friendly smile on his face. It's not forced. If I was to talk to somebody of importance to myself, someone that I have never passed words with, would that be allowed?
Unsure of your question, but you may speak.
Then perhaps on my journey to the Brackenvalch. I like your young warrior here. He reminds me of myself when I was younger. I shall travel with him. See if an old dog can teach him any new tricks.
I'm sure he'll be happy with the guidance. He can be a little headstrong and sometimes does need counselling. If you'll just give me one moment, please, you may wish to enjoy your time with the crowds and perhaps seek out the king on this day.
Yes, no, of course. Though I'm surprised he's not here. Interesting. I shall have to look for him. I bid you well, and a good evening, Semnothei. And Alvar. That's me.
Yeah.
Caradak. I look forward to travelling with you tomorrow. He turns and follows the crowd. People are patting him on the back. You know that most of them are going to be heading to the main hall.
Right. I'll walk over to Caradak.
Very quickly as I left, quietly upon the scorched battle, on the field.
Is there many people around, or is it?
No, they've all pretty much effectively moved back into the town, especially moving away from this particular central area. You look upon this huge bonfire,
which is out
now
there.
a skeleton.
Yeah.
You know, it's timbers and wood. It's raw wood, blackened from the incredible heat. The body of Urstat still lies upon the ground close to the fire. The head, you can see the skull within the flames. Two things of note that you don't have to have any particular sight. One, the back of the skull is somewhat elongated, and he has what can only be described as fangs. 4 upper and lower, of quite pointed teeth.
Right, canines all.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Now that the skin, everything has been slothed away by this incredible heat, you can see the skull and yeah, it's got a quite.
And something that wasn't visible in his mouth normally, like.
No, at least you never noticed it when you were up close. Both of you were there when he shouted at you. He was up in your face, growling. You sort of look at this body, this skull, and go, "Okay, that yeah, it looks different."
I'll walk over to.
I
One beside Caradak.
I sink to my knees as soon as I'll leave.
And when he's on his knees, I'll lean over and just say, Caradak, you ever do anything like that again without letting me know what's on your mind, particularly to a Semnothei, I'll turn you inside out. Literally, I'll turn you inside out. And then I'll leave him, and then I'll go over and have a look at the corpse that isn't, and sort of turn it over and have a look at it and just see if there's anything that is it just a dead corpse with a bit of bear skin on it and all that. I'll open it up, like, you know, move it aside, see if there's anything he's carrying, or I'm not going to rob him, but I am like looking around, like, is he carrying anything? Is he? Appendix 4. Whole list of things. Plus 20 sort of mighty lips of boots of leaping.
Okay, so pushing back the hide. Obviously, the body itself wasn't damaged by the fire. You see that the belt has 2 pouches upon it. However, scabbarded, or at least there is a scabbard. However, instead of it being a blade, it's something tube, a metal tube, in a leather pouch is attached to the belt. 2 pouches. Looking through the pouches.
Yeah, have a look at them.
In one pouch, you can, you do find, not you can see. In one pouch, you find a pair of gloves.
The ones that were in the case.
In the left pouch, and the right pouch, you can see that there seems to be, well, there is 2 jars, not jars, vials. In one vial is like a black with yellow speckled powder that you've never seen before. You've seen many different herbs. You are a master in herbs. You don't know what this black powder is, and specifically with golden specks in it. And the other one is apparently, though stoppered, is empty.
Right. Okay. I'll take these things.
Yep. You take the belt, or you just cut the straps on the pouches?
Yeah, I'll just take the pouches. I'm not interested in the belt.
Okay.
I'm not interested in the gloves as well. I saw them in his rooms. He's just got them tucked into the belt, was it?
Into the pouch.
Into the pouch. I'll take one out and look at them, because I never probably looked at them. Is it just a normal glove? Any sigils on it, or any? So
it's a very, very soft material.
Like doe skin type thing.
Beyond that, this doesn't look. It's not made of hide.
Right.
It is, so there's no visible stitching. They're fine, very, very soft to the touch, very light.
I'm gonna sense this thing, because when he came in and he was exuding power, he was wearing these.
He was, yeah.
I'm gonna try and sense to see. Is there anything inherent in these gloves, or?
Yes.
There's something in these gloves.
Yep. They're not so much a power in themselves; they're a conduit of power.
In that case, I'll put those into my pouch and I'll bag those as well.
Okay.
Anything else on the body that stands out that would be different from what I would expect to see on a normal Semnothei? Like there's and the fire's gone out.
You watched it.
It's completely dead, so there's no radiant heat anymore now?
Zero. Like, it wasn't on fire. If it wasn't for the black scorching and the memory of seeing this thing blazing, you would have said that this fire had been put out days before.
Right. Well, I'll go towards the pyre where the skull is.
Yep.
And probably I'll have to use my axe to reach into the chars to bring it up and use the blade to get under the the bowl of the head so I can lift it up so I'm not getting burnt because I imagine it's still warm.
Nope.
It's not warm. It's cold.
Zero heat.
But the skull's not.
Nothing.
Even though it was burnt off.
Absolutely. There was zero. Like I say, it would have been days ago that this fire was blazing. Days. Something this big could be 3 or 4 days before the heat's gone. There's nothing.
And I'll have a close look at this skull, these teeth, and the shape, and just sort of burning it in my mind as, have I ever seen anything like this before?
No. You've come across many skulls. You've come across
part of the job.
You meet them.
Yeah.
You make them look like this.
I just made this one yesterday.
You make the scully. You've looked at skulls. Some of the stuff that this Factory, I'm lying, that the Semnothei have are things that they brought from the homelands from the south. Real old skulls, are used in ritual, and some of them have weird shapes. Very brutish-looking bone structure, and you are taught that your form that you have now is developed over time. That has become the way it is, but that you came from much brutish beginnings. This is nothing like that. Looking at the skull itself, you obviously not being able to see or having a time to study. You can enact what it looked like, when it was still.
Yeah,
and you realise that fat, given that fat head, would have been that gap. That's what hid. The head didn't get bigger. The skull hasn't got bigger. He was a small fat man, and you realise this huge area underneath this
was just hidden under
fat. But as you turn sideways and look at it, you can see that the back of the skull, though it elongates, is very much like the front, a beak of a tropical, a foreign bird that you've seen in the Semnothei, things that they've got for rituals.
Right.
This creature apparently had been. Nobody remembers where it came from, but it's used in certain rituals. It's very different to the birds that you use, such as jackdaw and crow, etc. This thing has a very heavy, a much heavier bill. You can see with a slight hook upon it. It's not a predator. It's more of a fruit eater, to be fair, but in this case, it's more predatory. And at a certain angle, it looks beak-like.
And fangs.
At the front, where the teeth are, they're elongated into points. Yeah. Now these aren't like the certain creatures of within the walk stalk the earth in hotter climates. Not so much in the break. Where the fangs are used to draw sustenance. These are more animalistic, meant for tearing and rending.
Is there something I want to bag this, but I haven't got. Obviously, I don't carry around a big sack to be throwing skulls into it. Is there something I can use to?
Well, you've got his cloak.
Cloak. Yeah. I'll take that and just put it into the cloak so that it's.
You wrap up.
It's not visible as I wander through the town with. Oh, there's Semnothei with his skull. Must be a Wednesday.
Would anyone look and care?
No. Well, they wouldn't say anything. Yeah.
Have you stood up or are you still kneeling?
I think throughout that, I'm still leaning, still kneeling.
Okay.
Processing stuff.
Right, I'll turn around and start walking back towards Caradak. Come, Caradak, get up. Day's not over. We've much to do before we're on the road tomorrow. There's more to this than meets the eye. Let's get your wounds tended to. Let's go and see that healer at Arvid's. I also have some questions. Perhaps he's got some insight on what I've just found.
I stand and walk off.
You walk off.
Walk off.
Uh,
Walk off.
Any direction in particular?
Back towards.
You head back to town.
Right,
Yeah.
No, I thought you were just like
become a nomad.
yeah.
All right. Sack.
Just suddenly come through. Just wanders off with these flute.
Oh, right.
Caradak, over here. Caradak. Oh, sorry.
Well, as you stand, both of you are obviously acutely aware that the body is still lying there on the ground with a spear partway through it.
Oh, take me spear on the way back.
Right, so he just
puts his foot on.
He's leaving the body there?
I might have to cut this out. Yeah, just the body goes there.
Just leave it there, where it lies.
That's what happens at the end of it. Normally all the innards are stripped out and then prepared. normally there's other people to do that for me, and not for me to do that.
Yeah, and Erstat was running the sacrifice.
Yeah, so it's not normal. I don't get my hands dirty like that.
And now he has been sacrificed.
That looking around, it's like, yeah, wait a minute, I'm not digging a hole. Is there any kindling or fire still going that's a suitable size?
Nope.
No,
All the fires have gone out.
But is there any burnable material? Or
Yes, now the place is surrounded. You know, the fire itself could still be rekindled.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
I'll be up all night.
Forever.
Well, I'll look at Caradak. Let's put some of these blogs together. We need to burn this thing. I haven't got time to be.
You can throw the body back onto the fire.
Is there enough wood in the thing? Well, okay.
It's still a massive bonfire.
Right. Well, it's not lit.
No, but you can.
Yeah, that's what I was going to like. So I'll put it back on and just throw it into where the into a suitable area where there's plenty of wood to get going, and then using the power within me, I'll start persuading to get them to get warmer and warmer until they burst into flames.
Okay, you do so.
And then and as
the visualization seems to be reluctant, but you have to persuade the fire a little more than usual for the heat to take hold, but it does, and the wood and then quickly the body ignite as you walk off.
Oh no, I'm going to say a few words.
Sure,
no, I'm going to say a few words. Pretty much
okay.
for words, more soliloquy here. So I'll again look to the sky and say, Tal, take this body of your enemy. Know that your enemies will be struck down with righteousness, should they ever come to challenge you. This thing, this whatever it is, did not represent the Semnothei and does not represent our ways. Yet to find out what it is, but know that any time your enemies ever present themselves, we are there, we are your right hand, we will strike them down. And then scene. And
you
spin round.
You say your prayer to Tal. Offer up. Were you waiting?
Mm.
Okay. You stand there. He says his prayer. Turn.
I watch from a distance and wait until you return.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and then we'll head back. Go back and we're going to head to Arvid's to try and sort them out for tomorrow's journey. With my bag of goodies.
You make it to you make it across the bridge back into the town itself. Down the road, you pass the Great Hall, which is lit and much jovialty is going on. Music is in there, the sounds of laughter, men and women alike, drinking, carousing, and the smell of food hastily being cooked. No doubt. There was no preparation for this.
Salmonella tomorrow. Half the tribe wiped out.
You take that left branch and you enter Arvid's.
The tents of pleasure. The palace of sheets.
The centre of which is that low white wall, and you know that the curtains are normally down in a semicircle around, except in the far right corner, which leads on to Arvid's. The place is quiet. The two guards are not on the front, but are in the inner courtyard. They look somewhat surprised as you approach. There is no sound from within. You're a little bit surprised because, under the circumstances, you think that the way that the party's going, people must have would expect them to flock to here. However, it's not quite that sort of night, you assume, and the place is quiet. You are not approached by Arvid the moment that you walk in, though the guards scramble to their feet in this quiet courtyard, and it is literally quiet.
Is your master in?
I think so, my lord. One moment. And you hear his sandalfeet skittering on the soft earth as he heads off down the corridor, leaving one guard with you, staring at you, and then looking down at the ground when he notes that you're looking at him.
Mm.
Moments pass as you stand there waiting, and
Drink.
he hands you the water skin.
Take a drink.
It's not water.
Don't care.
Right, you.
There's emergency pee bag. I'll stand on the door
you
for.
could drink it.
I'm on the door for 12 hours. I got to go somewhere.
You
need to see a doctor.
You cough back. It's a very, very, very bad, horrible tasting wine. Very crude.
More vinegar than wine.
Arvid comes down the corridor quickly. He's in subdued clothing, strapping a lower cloth to his waist, still tying it as he comes down the corridor. Semnothei, that wasn't it. And yes, I take it the ceremony went off without incident.
Went exactly to plan.
Apparently, I need a healer.
Why? Weren't you the sacrificer? Executioner?
I have ears everywhere.
Did you slip with the blade?
I executed.
So why do you need help?
Apparently, I need healing.
You got a bit too close to the fire.
I've seen some burn before. Now that I know it, of course, you seem to be short of hair as well. You really want my help?
It serves a purpose. Humour me.
Goddard! He calls over his shoulder. You look at each other quietly for a moment.
Right. Well, that's sorts.
What is this?
Looks like a wineskin.
What's inside it?
I have no idea, my friend.
It is awful.
Well, you didn't get it here.
Got it from him.
The guard looks sheepishly at him like, so you got his drink from him. And where did you get that?
Homebrew.
Takes it off you. It's fermented milk. What do you want?
It's from the 2-penny piss store.
That is affectionately known as horse piss.
Enjoy. While we leave our young friend...
Carter!
We need to talk in somewhere private. I have things I need to discuss with you. Important things.
When Carter gets here, tell him to administer to him. Come.
Right. Go through. Enjoy your whatever that is.
Yeah, you feel like you've got more hair in your mouth than you've got on your head with each mouthful. Right, you end up in, you walk back into Arvid's offices.
Arvid, you're a well-travelled man.
Some would say.
I'd like you to have a glance at this object and see if this reminds you, brings anything to fore what it may be. And I bring out Usted's skull and slam it on his desk.
Puts his arms firmly behind him. Where'd you get this?
It's not what I asked. What is it?
True, but it might help. Where'd you get this?
What is it?
Well, it looks like it was of man, but pulls out a long dagger. It's like a miniature sword.
Yeah.
Moves it around. I've seen mutations before. Far to the north. Certain worship will bring about change in a man. This point here, and he points out the eye ridges, the nose. That is man. That is the original. These taps the teeth, and this is a mutation. Mutation brought about by the worship of things that normally stay in the dark, of a great power, a dark power, one to rival your gods.
And I'll take out the black powder and have you ever seen something like this before? This is beyond my knowledge of herbs.
Pulls out a pair of white and gold trimmed gloves. You immediately recognise very similar, if not identical, to the ones that you've got in your pouch. Pours it out onto the table. Gentle sniff. Flicks some into a candle. Flames up. No idea what that is.
He's going to snort it.
Yeah.
Yo.
Rub it on his teeth. That's a good time, that is.
There is an ash content. Something has been obviously burned and cindered and scraped. There is gold, which is the glint that I can see. But there is also a power within the powder. A great spell has been wrought upon that. I think it would possibly be a scorched, possible body part, something to do with blood magic, blood ritual.
It's not something that I would expect to see in Semnothei territory. It's not something I have seen before. Thank you for that. Although what we do with the good Ersted's head now,
Ersted. Literally,
yeah.
a real belly chuckle. Ersted.
Mm.
That'll explain the surprised look on his face.
It was not as a surprise as the one where the 3 foot of spear shaft from Caradak was when it went through him.
The gods work in mysterious ways.
They do through me, yes.
I'll have to remember that. Semnothei.
I don't like to be challenged in my own power area by an upstart like this.
Well, there's a lesson he's learned.
It's a very poignant one. It's probably his final lesson.
Yes. Well, he obviously got the point, and I also did. So, anything else I can do to assist you?
Heal my man if you could, and I'll have a glass of something a little bit more palatable than the penny piss that Caradak's currently swilling.
Will you be staying here tonight?
I will.
You can't actually hear the way.
Yeah.
And I'll have to literally this far from the main hall.
Yeah, I'll probably be staying here for a couple of hours just to gather my senses. It has been somewhat of a trying night.
As you say. And does this change the plans for the journey?
We will see. We will see. Things have changed. There is now a need for a new Zakonik for the Unberogen.
No doubt.
And hopefully one that's a bit more reasonable than Good Erstad, who perhaps strayed a little bit more than was really necessary. Amongst Semnothei, it sometimes does happen, but we find that if we are rather strict and firm in our chastisements, the next Zakonik perhaps won't stray from the message.
Now, what do you need in a Zakonik? He sits back and pulls out this long-necked jug, pours out a glass, hands you it, pours himself some. To Good Erstad, takes a sip.
To gentle Erstad and his screaming death.
Yes, I wish I'd known it was going to happen, if only I'd known. So, again, what do you need in a Zakonik?
Well,
Being a member of your High Council.
Zakoniks are exalted position. It requires someone who has been in the Semnothei teachings for many years, who understands the Semnothei way and understands how to guide a tribe through consultation with the gods under the general tutelage and direction from the High Council itself of the Semnothei. It is an onerous and sometimes odious job. It takes a certain skill set. Not all are called, and those who are called, we can see with Good Erstad here, are not always suitable.
And you'd prefer Zakonik that was of the same thinking, of the same line of thought as yourself?
It is generally the case that all Zakonik, we have a similar outlook, we have a similar mission, we have a similar understanding of the gods' needs, wants, and ability to translate. We keep to ourselves to a certain extent. We are there to guide. We're not there to rule. We're not there to lead. We are there to help the king in this case, tribal leaders as it was. Erstad perhaps is being overstepping that mark, become more involved in more trivial things, trade, other such diversions. That's not what is required for a Zakonik. A Zakonik needs to be at the side of the king, guiding him at all times. That is his only mission here, is to guide the tribe. What do we need of money? What do we need of petty foibles, of flesh, and this fine wine?
Yes. Perhaps I can assist the Semnothei while you choose a Zakonik, then. Perhaps I could step in and follow a certain train of thought that you leave behind. I can assist you in this way. And perhaps then guide the next Zakonik if he was more in line with Erstad's thinking as opposed to your own. Perhaps I could then guide him gently in the right path. As a friend, as a friend of the Semnothei, as a friend of Ulmakor.
Well, that's an interesting proposition. Obviously, I, being part of the ruling council, can and will a discussion with our leader, Ingvar, about who the next person should be to take up this role from many, many candidates within the Semnothei ranks. However, Ingvar will ultimately make that call, as is his right, and as is right. However, I believe that this far away from the Semnothei stronghold, perhaps Urstad had forgotten his way. Perhaps that's what happened. It may be useful to have a like-minded soul. Maybe he's not directly in the Semnothei rank structure to do exactly what you said, to look after and help. Not obviously to order.
Of course not.
Not to overtly influence.
No.
But there to be someone that perhaps the Zacchanik can call upon when he has troubles in an immediacy than when he doesn't need to call on someone like myself. Because maybe myself is who we should be speaking to, because I am very senior within the Semnothei ranks and I understand what's required. And I can be very present, more present than perhaps the Semnothei stronghold can be, because we have many things to occupy. This is but one tribe of many. But this tribe is favoured of me. I have spent many years with this tribe, and I have a small shine for this tribe. I'd like to see it do well. I wouldn't like to see another Urstad, who I don't know was perhaps helping as well as he could do. And I would hate to have to come back and do this again.
Of course. Well, if I can be of service in this regard, I would take this upon myself, my shoulders, and aid you in any way that you saw fit, until such time as you wish to replace me with somebody, hopefully in a lot less permanent fashion. I am, after all, already here. I already seemingly fit.
I don't necessarily think that's such a bad idea. We should keep this between ourselves, obviously. But yes, if look out for the next Zacchanik. And we will arrange, you and I, a means of communication so that you can let me know where he's going and whether he is having any issues and difficulties integrating into this tribe. That's important. Integration's important. And whether he's delivering this message in that subtle blend of forceness but also tactful.
Of course. And to the benefit of the Unberogen king and his family.
Absolutely. That's only our mission through the guidance of the gods. Let's not forget that. And I particularly don't want to hear about Zacchanik owning property and running businesses and whatever that got up to. His peccadillos below these floors were unwarranted and unseemly and unnecessary and a distraction. That's, I believe, where good Urstad may have been going wrong. But Father Tal, understanding that, decreed that he should give his blood in sacrifice to speed the good king and queen to their destination unharmed. And for that we should thank good Urstad. To good Urstad.
To good Urstad. You take a drink, you refill it.
Now get rid of that shit. I never want to say that before, ever.
It shall be disposed of, and of course I shall make sure that with this newfound understanding and friendship, that no others shall do as Urstad did, make the same mistakes. I think that's the best way I can offer that, obviously, because I can't communicate directly with the gods, but only yourself as and when you are able, that the simple ruling would be that they do not follow in the steps of Urstad.
They may follow in the steps of Urstad, but they'll soon find themselves screaming on a fire with their head rapidly departing their shoulders.
Of course. Yeah, takes a stave nearby and raps on the floor. The door opens after a couple of moments. Remove this, make sure that it is never discovered again, destroyed, crushed down, and left in the darkest hole you can find. The man comes in silently, lifts it up inside a cloth, and walks off. Well, I would say that the dagger that he had, that he used, he sheathes it. It's a very fine blade.
Not like a paper opener.
No, it's like it's very. The point is very distinctly the business end. It's not so much edged either. It's more tubular. You realise that the way he was holding it was a misrepresentation of the weapon. As he's got a hold of it, and you see that it actually is a thin, then goes into a tube. It's more of a pointed weapon. You've never seen the likes of it before. As he sheathes it, he looks at it for a moment, weighs it up, takes another drink. Perhaps you could hand this to your Victoria. Tell him that it has always been lucky to me, and that I hope that it brings him the same luck.
I'll take it and look at it.
It's
an unusual item. A dagger of some sort?
It is. It's very old. It is not of any particular god, so no need to worry, Semnothei. It is not connected to the to any deity. It is just literally an old weapon. I've always had it in my possession. It was passed to me by my father. I have no children, but I feel that fate and gods look upon the Victoria, and I would like to add this, and in some way, perhaps, good fortune and the eyes of the gods will pass from him in some kind of shadow to me, some small favour. It's how we, where I come from, how we work. We pass it on and hope that if it shows good fortune, if the gods are willing, that we will also see some good fortune in our lives. I feel that you have the word of the gods, you have the power of gods within you. Victoria, perhaps not so much, so it is just merely a gift of fortune.
I'll take it. I'll pass this on.
You can feel it, it has power.
Right. Does it feel a corrupt power? Is it
nope.
Just an energy?
Yep, just an energy. But there's no corruption about it at all.
Right. Great. I'll stick it in, Whoop, that's mine, thank you.
Of course!
Yeah. Ooh, straight in my belt. Did he give you anything? No, tight.
Bastard.
Give you nout. Right, I best go and see how my young fellow is doing after his strenuous exhaustions today. Thank you for this wine. This is particularly good wine. Sadly, it's all empty.
No, of course. More. I shall make sure that you have enough to a few days travel. I understand you're about to partake. I'll make sure that you have supplies. I'll have them brought or sent to be added to your supplies for the journey.
Certainly. We will be coming back from this journey. Marvin.
Of course.
Look after this town.
I will.
And I will come see you afterwards. And we'll find out what's been going on.
As you wish and command. I shall re-establish what has been going on, who Erstat has been involved with, what he's been doing, because no doubt there will be people now acting out of character without anybody commanding them. I shall look out for them, and I shall have them brought here for you to have a discussion with, if that is what you wish.
Absolutely. I will go and see my young friend. I'll take this fine drink with me.
Do you take the jug with you?
Yeah, just like
kick the door open.
Yeah. It's going to be a party tonight. After a good bloodletting, I'd like a beer.
It's been about half an hour. In that time, God had turned up. He administered to you, very similar as you did with your broken hand. You felt a warmth and you felt your skin heal. Your hair has not grown back. He hasn't got that ability. So you feel like it's possibly you're going to have to cut at it because it is at various different lengths. But it didn't burn off. You didn't catch fire.
No.
But you were covered in oil. And it just literally crisped and just shriveled up like any hair cannon against heat. You were lucky that it didn't go up in flames, having put oil on your hair. But yeah, so your eyebrows are gone, your nasal hairs. You're not going to have to shave today, and your hair's a little bit crisped off. There's a smell of burning about you, but it does heal your skin, and it gets that the soft feel about it. The oils return, and it gives away without any scarring. He moves on, and you're sat there drinking horse piss with the two gods.
It's probably going down really well by now, because after 3 pints of horse piss,
yeah. You're a little bit loose-tongued, to say the least, as you find yourself going, thup, as the Semnothei walks into view.
And then I threw his head into the fire.
As you walk around the corner, and the gods are like, mouths open like, ah! You obviously walk around, and then they do that, they go, oh! And they have that look of anyone, not just squaddies, soldiers around the world, where somebody of superior rank walks in, and they're not sure if just hearing something gets them in trouble.
yeah, like especially it wasn't them.
Yeah. And he's, they're like, oh, right, yeah, well, yeah, good times, yeah.
So, yeah, could you believe Actari
Absolutely. Brilliant.
beheading a Semnothei? Throwing his head into a fire?
Yeah,
Would you believe it?
No.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm just staring.
Started behind him.
Yeah.
No, really?
This isn't good at all, is it?
No,
No.
it's bad stuff.
But
yeah.
it's
Does the job.
it does the job.
Yeah. So what now?
It felt nice.
Yeah?
It felt great.
Oh.
Absolutely. I think I've been meaning to do that for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to have a piss. One turns and
I should
wanders
join
off.
you.
The other one's like, as you'd walk off behind him, leaving this one guard who's literally just staring where he was standing.
Right.
They wander off.
They wander off for a mutual. God knows what's going on.
Oh.
So, has our young friend been talking a lot?
Yeah.
Of course, nothing he said will leave this room ever, will it?
Don't believe him anyway. No, you're right. Nothing whatsoever. Semnothei.
Nothing will happen.
No.
Because the god's reach is very long.
Yep.
It's very immediate.
Absolutely.
And it can be quite strong.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's understood
Absolutely.
that this
Semnothei.
will never become a rumour. We'll never get out of this place. Because if it is, I know exactly where it's come from.
Yes.
And I will return with my displeasure.
Understood, Semnothei.
And I'll have you skinned alive.
Okay. Absolutely. I will make sure that that lie will never be told again.
Excellent. Excellent.
Didn't believe that was a joke anyway. Semnothei.
Right, I'm going to go and sit down in the big wafty area, put my feet up, start finishing this nice wine, and just as I sit there, I go, right, what on earth happens now? As I take another drink of this fine yet empty glass.
You walk in.
And just like I was saying in there, Terence,
Yeah.
all the Semnothei are
Caradak,
just
Caradak,
absolutely full
Caradak.
of
He's out there. He walked up behind you when you were throwing the head in the fire.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm just going to stand in here for a while.
hey,
Caradak,
hey,
come sit here.
Ulmakor Semnothei master, you?
You walk back out. The other guy's like, I don't know what
Yeah,
I'm
I think
looking at.
I think you should. You
Yeah,
should just get.
Check my wrist,
I think it's
for a mole.
time to go.
pick up the sundial.
I didn't cut on with it.
Universal time, you know. Yeah. He sort of like he gets to the moon and he's like,
Yeah, it could be
oh,
tempting.
is that the time? Great times. See you tomorrow night.
I'm due in Altdorf.
He's out the front door. You were consciously aware that one guy went into the one way in, one way out toilet and has not come back. You visualise him curled up in amongst the piss and like, I'm sleeping here tonight.
Yeah, this is out now.
Yeah, his face is flushed. It's not the sunburnt or fire burnt flush. It's the high flush of alcohol.
Caradak, what I recommend that you should do
Yes.
is
He's not absolutely mortal by any means, but he's definitely a bit
is
more relaxed.
you should sober up as quickly. Finish drinking because that's it done now. And to help you finish that drink and get yourself sorted out for tomorrow, go upstairs to one of the other rooms. Perhaps your normal room, your usual room, the one you've been to before, and get this out of your system because tomorrow we leave. We leave for the Brackenwalch, and that's a dangerous place to be. So we all need to be on our guard. Get yourself up there, fill your boots, and I'll see you early at dawn because we have to plan this.
Turn to the god. Is he there?
Oh, he left as fast
Oh, he
as
left
could.
as well.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Head up to one of the rooms. Go. Anyone. It's all free. Go.
Leave?
Okay. You head upstairs. leaving you.
Take his drink on the
Just shoom.
Finish that. It's not as good as that horse piss. It'll yeah. Got less. Doesn't smell as pissy. This one.
It's incredibly sweet compared to what you've been drinking.
This is nice. Does that leave?
Swipe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So what time is it now, roughly?
It's not by the it's still short of midnight.
Right. Okay. So we've got another I don't know what time of the year it is, but is it 5 o'clock dawn? 6 o'clock? What time's dawn?
This time of year, dawn will be around. 'Cause it's still. The sun will start coming up. Yeah, so dawn will be up at about 7:30.
Right. Okay. So there's, obviously, I can hear the sense of a lot of partying clearly going on. Some heavy partying. Right. Okay. I'm gonna go upstairs. Walk into one of the rooms. Turf everyone out. Get out, everyone.
The place is deserted.
Oh, there's no one in there.
Yeah.
Right.
You've had no other noise. Bob and the two guards.
So no girls here.
Nope.
He's gonna be disappointed.
I'm sleeping.
Yeah, probably collapsed. It's
Fire.
still on the floor. Didn't quite make it. No. Right. I'm gonna find a bed, and I'm gonna curl up to sleep because it's been quite a night. I'm gonna try and get. I'm gonna get up at the dawn. I'm gonna set my internal clock. My internal clock. Click for the dawn, and I won't sleep in. Because once I tell myself I won't sleep in, I don't sleep in. That's the Semnothei way. Discipline we have.
You're woken up by moaning.
Moaning.
It's groaning. You're woken up by groaning. It's a painful sound. Someone going. It's not a straining sound. It's groaning.
Right. Okay.
It's a sound of pain being held back by gritted teeth.
Okay. Well, I'll get up.
Yep. Your head's swimming slightly. You gather your thoughts. Gain your composure. It's dark. It's got that sort of pre-dawn cold.
Right.
Where the fire hasn't been lit and the sun hasn't come up to warm the land.
Yeah.
The floor creaks under you as you open the door. You're on the veranda looking down at the night below. There's a green cast across the courtyard. You look up and you see not only Mansley but you can see Moorsley, or the faint glow of Moorsley. The groaning is coming from your right side, and you are aware very quickly it's the room that the Vaktar is in.
All right. Okay. I'll grab my axe.
Okay, you go back in the room, axe out, pull up.
Yeah.
Did you just lie down on the bed?
Yeah.
Still talking?
Yeah. I just.
Right, you unsheath your axe out in hand.
Yeah, I don't care. Muddy boots on the sheets. I'm not cleaning
them. Right. You walk along the walkway. It seems every single foot finds every creak it can. You can't help it. You literally grimace as you try to move quietly towards the room. Did you deliberately get the room next door, or was it just a room? Yeah,
literally
so
just
a couple of doors down.
Right.
It is otherwise silent, and then you hear another round of groans of pain. This is not a sound of someone groaning in their sleep, having a nightmare. This is somebody in pain, being hurt.
Okay, so
you know what that sounds like.
Yeah, intimately aware what that sounds like. All right, I'll basically rush the door, burst it open.
You, as you kick the door open and step in, axe raised, you can see on the bed, arms pinned, literally to the frame, legs pinned, bolts rammed through each appendage, keeping him in a star shape. His mouth is gagged. You can see the naked form of Caradak.
He went to the wrong room.
You can see he's been cut in such a way that his internals are being held in check simply by gravity. Is lying down. He has been. You can see the deep welts and cuts. Standing over the top of him, you see Urstat Drago.
Not Chari, not missing a head.
There?
What? No! Hate you.
Darkest EastEnders.
But I'd watch it if
What the hell Dirty Dan doing?
Yeah. Oh my God.
He's cutting on Caradak.
He's just sacrificed someone. I'm watching this.
Hello, Patricia.
No, Sharon, don't do it. Right.
Bloody hell.
Quite literally, bloody hell.
Bloody hell, yeah.
And that was the end of Caradak. What are you going to do next week?
I don't know.
He's going to be playing
I'm thinking of a new guy.
Battlefield 5.
Yeah, I'm thinking of a new guy.
Yeah.
It's going to be...
You'll play pot washer.
I'll play Terrence because he knows too much now.
Right.
You are Terrence.
Yeah. But now I'm calling you Caradak because no one must know. Keep on losing this. You're the 15th Caradak I've had.
So Caradak... What brought Caradak? Why did Caradak... Did you see that coming?
No. I had to just react. I had to react because in the moment it was like, well...
Crap.
Yeah.
What happens now?
I could just say kill him, but then really I want Ursta dead anyways. So I need to turn this to be a Semnothei thing rather than being out of the Semnothei control. This needs to be messaged that this was our idea, and that's the good thing, you know, rather than someone just attack the Semnothei, because no one can attack the Semnothei because we rely on...
Victoria just killed Zakanik.
We rely on people not killing Semnothei because, you know...
Yeah,
there's not enough.
We can all do it.
Yeah, exactly right. So we need to turn. I needed to turn that into something that was ordained by me, and therefore it was a Semnothei thing. Made sense to the masses.
So I take it Ulmakor was going to allow the sacrifice of Alvar.
Yeah, he was going. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care.
He wasn't going to. Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, he wasn't going to order Caradak to do such a thing. So, do you think Caradak's gotten off a bit lightly?
At this moment, oh no, perhaps not. Perhaps he's got a little.
Yeah, there's definitely something. Just Urstad hasn't taken kindly to being beheaded and thrown into a fire.
Yeah, apparently he didn't get off lightly.
Ulmakor.
I mean, Caradak's been feeling it for a while though.
Yeah, but is it? Well, yeah. So
well, he should have been feeling.
Obviously got a way. You know, he's running the show. And I just want to say, by the way, if anyone that's watching is, unless you guys have discussed it without me being aware, that was purely Caradak.
No, that was purely
feeling the moment.
Yeah.
What's about Alvar? Why? Was it because of Alvar? You didn't want to see... I mean, this guy's happy to go. Yeah. It's the way of things.
I remember I think it was the first earlier episode where we had this chat. And, you know, this was not long after the Caradak was standing outside and he heard Urstad and Ulmakor have this chat about the Portent Feast and how it was all made up. And they had this grand plan to get rid of Alvar.
Yeah.
And obviously
to
weaken Unberogen. And obviously since then, not that at that point I don't think he cared so much. I think he did quite, you know, Caradak had this chat at the time with Alvar to say, you know, you're prepared to die for nothing? You know, are you sure? You know,
but to him it wasn't.
But for him it wasn't. But from then, I guess it was just a build-up of numerous things over time. You know, I mean, Urstad constantly giving him grief. Again, he is used to that. Semnothei giving him grief. But I think the turning point for him was the Vaktori. When he found the Vaktori being tortured
by Urstad. And he wasn't the first one.
No, he wasn't the first one. And seeing the other Vaktori like that, and then obviously the way Urstad was treating me, or me in Caradak, I think that was sort of the build-up. And I think the very last moment when I actually decided going into there, that's why I put that note in there that, look, this is what I was going to do, was when I turned to Queen Griselda to to sort of gauge what her take on this was. You know, because obviously while Ulmakor wasn't aware that I was standing outside because I wanted to hear what Alvar. I don't know why from day one when Alvar put his clasped Caradak's shoulder. I don't know for whatever reason. I feel that he's the only person that's ever been he has a I guess this far out away from home. He has a connection with that he can somehow relate to him, being a sort of champion. Other than that, I don't know if it's Alvar. I think that area is yet to be developed, but I think for him it was when Queen Griselda said, look, you know, I'll do him justice, and she said, make sure you do. And then he did this speech about you know, not seeing his son, and that this is what he would say if he was alive. And I was like, I think you should tell that. I think you should
have the chance.
You should have the chance, the opportunity to tell him that yourself.
See, for me, it's a double prong this, right? And I don't know how to word this really. My brain's kind of alive with the implications, you know. One, from a pure logical point of view, you know, Caradak has gone against the will of the gods, because you've got no reason to think that Alvor's death, because Alvor's 100%, right? So on one side and the other side, basically, is he 100% sure that Ulrich, or sacrificing Alvor to Ulrich, doesn't make the journey into the Brackenwald easier? You think that is Caradak basically saying that no, the sacrifice is crap, it's bullshit, it's not real. Therefore, it is, you know, you're not really into why, or maybe you do, but you're simply going, this is not real, this is not true. You knew you were going against Ulmakor's wishes.
Yeah, I think
Caradak knew
right then it was just pure, just going on gut instinct. At that time, that's why Caradak, at that moment when he beheads Urstat, he sort of glares into the fire as an act of defiance. That look, no, look, no, enough is enough, because I know this is bullshit.
Yeah,
I know it is. So it's not a fitting end for him. I felt like that because, and I said that to him in, like I said, going back to like the episode 1 or 2, whatever it was, and I said, I don't feel it. You're crazy. I don't get it. And I think that stuck with him. And then seeing this champion right there, and it goes, no, this doesn't seem right. Doesn't seem right at all for him to go like this.
So you took that. See, the thing is, because Caradak didn't discuss this with Ulmakor, so he's taken away this champion's fitted ending. Because you know, man, he's not fit for battle. So he's not going to die a warrior's death. In this case, he's went, I'm going on this walk tomorrow. You know, whatever happens, he's going to the Brackenwald, and of course, you've backed that. Ulmakor backed that up. But you kind of took the warrior's death away from him, his actual sacrifice. He was comfortable, he was happy. No different to you dying doing your job. Yeah. You know, you'd be happy doing it. So there is that connection. He wants it regardless of the truth. He was getting an out that he was happy with. Caradak didn't know Ulmakor was going to back him up. If Ulmakor had gone a different way, not only would you have murdered a Semnothei, but you'd have taken this warrior's truthful ending from him. But Ulmakor was quick on the uptake, and he's went, yep, the gods want it, which has allowed Alvar to go, sweet. All right, that's fair enough.
Yeah, because I could have just like, oh my god, you know, this is a servant who's now going against us, in which case I should have just had him immediately killed, but it doesn't really serve my purpose at this point. He hasn't processed the fact that he's now like my weapon is a live snake and it can bite either way. Yeah. But and in that moment it was like, I need to control I need to control the message here. I need to control it, because if not, then
everyone's getting killed.
Everyone, yeah, exactly.
Ingvar's going to kick off regardless. We'll have to cover this in a minute. What's Ingvar going to do? Second of all, you've got a tribe that's just rose up and killed a Semnothei, but it was done by a Vakhtari. Yeah. Vakhtari's in trouble.
At the behest and permission of a senior Semnothei. Yeah. So the messaging is still the Semnothei are still in control, because of Soviet.
Yeah, you covered that off.
You know, we're still in control. And then...
So, yeah. Caradak didn't really think that far ahead.
Really?
No, he didn't. So, regardless, I think I just went with the moment.
Next episode, I'll get me flensing knives out and help Urstat go. Like, you work at the top, I'll work at the bottom.
So Ulmakor, he's looking into the fire. He's seeing Ingvar, the head of the order, is communicating directly with Urstat. He then looks down and watches Urstat speared like an animal, and then beheaded, his head then thrown into the fire. Not exactly the reaction he was expecting from him.
No, I would have expect rage, not not I'm covered. But I'm still uncertain what the link is between that dark entity, Urstat, and Ingvar, and that's got me curious. Also, these various items I've found. From Arvid of that this might be some sort of mutation.
Yep.
After worshipping dark entities, what do you mean, like the dark entity that was in your building? That was okay. So I'm still what's going on, and I'm worried about the because I'm still 100% Semnothei, and I want the Semnothei to survive.
Yeah, they've got to.
Then I'm still wondering whether we've got a deeper problem. Semnothei itself and I thought
well, he's definitely getting his vengeance. Lucky enough you've got a healer here if you can manage to get yourself through this.
Yeah.
What, meeting? It's hanging out.
Not quite,
Oh, they're not?
but he recognises cuts that allow for disemboweling.
Oh, right, okay. Well, I don't know. Well,
You're just pinned
I'm
and
just
gagged
pinned
and
and gagged,
screaming,
yeah.
but gagged, so it's going. "Rah!" Oh yeah, you're definitely not hungover now. Yeah, you're not drunk.
Yes.
So yes, I know we've got a few people watching. Cole, Holt, payback for the arm.
what arm? Oh, yeah, that arm.
Your arm,
My arm.
your
Yeah.
hand, broke
Yeah.
your hand.
You did?
Is Caradak following? Technically, I'm adding words and taking away here because it would make no sense unless I read it out at the time. I'm assuming Caradak following his version of the will of the gods, as the Semnothei are speaking false in certain things.
How dare they? How very dare you? We
No,
only
he's
speak-
saying, yeah, that's how I perceive it. That's how Caradak. I keep saying I. Caradak.
Yeah.
That's how Caradak is. He's got his own version of it now.
But he doesn't have to have a version. That's what the Semnothei is.
Yeah, but he's starting to.
Oh,
that's fine.
that's wrong.
Are the gods talking to?
No,
Caradak?
I don't think. No,
Or
no.
they're talking through him.
Oh God, not another guarantee.
Well, if
This
the
is
gods
end up
didn't
with
want
you.
it,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been able to do it. That
Why
is
does
so
every
bad
s-
when you get that thought process.
Why is it that every story I play goes down the guarantee?
Yeah.
I am the emperor.
Really?
Everyone's got, really? You're going with that?
Yeah.
That must be. Otherwise, if I wasn't the emperor, it wouldn't have happened.
And here I am sat on the throne with a hat.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's been before that.
Good job he's not here.
There's corruption within the Semnothei.
Ooh.
The corruptible, the incorruptible,
Un-
uncorruptible or corrupted.
No, never going to happen. Never in the history of the Semnothei. We are pure.
But then let's not forget.
Chase of the driven
we
snow.
go, you know, everything aside, Tal did pay us a visit.
Tal
You
did.
can't deny that.
Yeah.
You can't deny
He's
that
a big
one.
bloke. He has a
So-
certain. He leaves
Tal
a certain
said, "Look,
memory.
hey,
And he spoke to me, not to you.
yeah, but I seen him too. And when you were looking,
Therefore,
when you were looking, he put his arm around my shoulder. And I
yeah,
went,
yeah. And therefore,
Oh, Carrie.
apparently,
Carry.
Oh,
Yeah.
Carrie.
apparently he said to you, "God Emperor." That's what I figured it got for you. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One day you'll span the universe and
Blow
the known galaxy.
And you'll
What?
you'll blow this world to shit. Really?
Suddenly it just turned into an episode of The Office. And he's actually the office manager. What? See, everyone thinks I'm cool around here.
Yeah.
No.
Not really.
No.
Right.
So we've got anything else? Bear, thanks very much for joining. It's
Cheers,
the first
mate.
time you've watched
Bear.
one of these, I believe. Hopefully you survived the whole thing, had it in the background. Since you probably haven't seen any of the previous, I doubt you can say much. Old Sea Dog did make it on, but he got caught up late in a tournament. I know we've got a few people in the background that have spoken on our Xbox nights. Haven't spoken today. Probably trying to catch up. Got a fair few viewers in there as well as an equal amount of moderators, so we are well covered for,
Oh, right. Okay.
for anybody dropping anything. We've even got a VIP, the Don. Thanks very much for coming on. Voice from Royce from the Alcove. We've got Holt on here. Commander Root, our first follower. Avocado Dado. Sorry, right. What?
What?
Avocado Badado.
Avocado potato.
Yeah, as
Right.
well as Doc Pierogi and the Don. Thanks very much. Ah, there he is, voice from the Alcove. Howdy, boys. I know you've been on, mate. Don't know if you've caught all of it. You'll have to go onto YouTube to see any of the back episodes if you're interested. They're a couple of hours long each. Ultimately, it is the journey, the trials and tribulations of Ulmakor, played by Nevin, and Caradak, played by Talbot. And basically, it is a Warhammer campaign, a long time before the printed stuff, if you know anything about Warhammer. It's a fantasy setting, a druidic-like group control the tribes of man, and basically they're trying to slow down, behead the most powerful tribe, keep them separate so they don't become one. And it's basically just how the Semnothei and their bodyguards, the Vactori, are going to deal with this. The warrior elite and the elite class, where the kings are coming in second. So far we've just actually seen a very big difference here, where the Vactori have just murdered a member of the Semnothei in front of one of the council members of the Semnothei, a Soviet. He was, or is, Ulmakor's further up the food chain than Erstadt. And he just allowed the killing of it by his own warrior.
Well, I didn't really have much of a chance. He'd already done it before I got a chance to say, "Oh, don't do that."
Yeah, exactly.
He'd already turned him into like a party sausage.
Put it back.
So do you feel, do you think, were you expecting something different? Do you think Caradak was sort of like, I'm killing this man? Were you expecting something different to happen? Because I know that you were a bit concerned about the power level of this guy. This guy was powerful. He was. You could sense this. But I suppose a spear through
Clearly
the chest.
Come back from the dead.
Well,
Just tis but a scratch.
well, yeah, the spear through the chest and the beheading, though, I think caught him off guard.
Yeah.
Well, it often does.
Yeah, see, Holt gets it. He's been asking for it since they arrived.
Oh, he's asking for it?
Yeah. Outside.
It's the way he's dressed.
Outside. Did you look at more pint?
So, yeah. So we know what's
It felt good, though.
Did it feel good?
It felt really good.
All right.
I think...
Does it feel good now?
It feels great.
Does it feel good when now you're bound and gagged and being gutted?
No.
No. You see?
No, it still feels good.
See, that's a life
I'm
lesson.
willing to die for this.
Well, it looks like you are.
You're very, very, yeah. It's looking very likely.
It was worth it.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
I am actually genuinely in shock that you did. Yeah, that caught me off guard massively.
I've been thinking it for a while.
Yeah.
I've been thinking it for a while.
I mean, I know that.
I bet your fun round work. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to stop.
I'm going to get a chance. First chance I get, I'm going to kill him.
Don't upset Talbot.
I'm going to work tomorrow and say everything. They will be, and I killed him. They'll be like,
Yeah.
Chop his head off.
Donuts out and the coffee's on the desks.
He's on fire.
Okay.
Everybody's having a day off. Because Erstat's dead.
Oh, and by the way, everyone, I was with you, right, when the police asked.
Because, you know, from a James point of view, when I'm writing this, I've got to consider that.
You're like oh, shit.
I had to flick back to something that I wrote for Erstat and Ingvar. In the event of
lunacy.
There's a concept in here, which I'm not going to read out because it still stands, but when I'm looking at some of the major guys in here, I think, look, if they do find a way, or they just suddenly unexpectedly, out of context, kill him, because there's the big fight, there's there's a bad guy, there's got to be the big bad guy fight type stuff. But of course, as a group, as a players, you can't control what you guys are going to do. For example, there's a well thought out, planned sacrifice.
Yep.
The leader of the group's up for it. He's going along with it, but then the fighter of the group goes sod it, gets the stage and goes on and beheads Erstat. Surprise killings, And I'm looking at going, right. Because obviously the whole thing is Ingvar's now involved. And I'm thinking, well, hopefully Ingvar's not going to see this. No, but Ingvar's seen this. So that changes the dynamic. I mean, as we said, it's sacrifice.
I think the great thing is Caradak doesn't know that Ingvar was there, so here he is throwing the head in the fire and going, "Come on, then!"
He's throwing it in Ingvar's mouth.
Yeah.
Imagine if he could see him. Somebody goes, we were here all along.
Yeah.
I don't think at that point I would have cared.
No, you'd have been
I'd be like, yeah.
Probably start stabbing the
stick
fire.
that up your Semnothei or...
So it's going to be interesting because, as we said with the thing, is obviously the plan
I don't
of the
think
Semnothei comes to fruition.
I don't think you're getting a winter solstice present this year.
Yeah.
I don't think that's
I don't
happening.
think I am.
Unless a winter solstice present includes being staked and left. Well, actually, you don't have to bother with that. You're already being gutted by. You see, they come back from the dead to take care of it.
Secret Santa from him then.
Well, that is a secret Santa. Apparently, it's quite dangerous.
Yeah,
and slashy.
Yeah. So Ulmakor's going to have to
think fast on his feet yet again.
Ingvar's coming. That's this is the first time in history a Soviet has been killed by anyone other than Thuringians, which have been known to do it.
Zakhanik.
Zakhanik, sorry. Zakhanik's been beheaded, been publicly killed, and in front of Ingvar, one of his Soviet has then pronounced that it was lawful. Are you gonna? It's a problem.
Oh, but I've got the easy answer to that. If it was there, no, which is just we need to take control. Because if you can't even have the sense, it can't even be a suggestion that the Vaktaria are anything but loyal. Therefore, saying, "Oh, he's done something wrong and blah blah blah," now he's going to die horribly. Whilst that would have been, look at the vengeance of the Semnothei is, swift and cruel. That's fine, but it would have put, but even the Vaktaria are going against them now. Ooh, this has to be in public, endorsed slaying by a senior member of the Semnothei in the context of what was going on in terms of the journey and the king and the queen and all that. And privately, of course, he's going to be hoisted on a large pole through his innards and left to suffer for several days until or broken on a wheel.
This is the problem. You see, if one Semnothei can say it's the will of the gods, so can another.
Except this Semnothei is a Soviet, so there's
You're Soviet. The Zakonik that's staking you out. You have the Soviets just come up against him. So we'll see what happens. So yeah, episode 10. But I tell you what, right, Dorf, place to be.
It's all going on.
Million princes coming back from the dead and being exploded. Demons and people that have a thing about pigeons, apparently.
Yeah.
I thought he was a lot more powerful and dark than that, but he's been
Bird-
relegated in history as the pigeon man.
Birdman the pigeon fancier.
Exactly. I think he was further up the food chain than that,
But no, I think, come on, there's no fitting. That was great. Come on.
but
Sacrifice.
yeah.
I sacrificed a Semnothei.
A very powerful Semnothei who could literally kill you with a thought.
Yeah. I know.
And you just put a spear through him. Of course, it's a wake-up call as well, very quickly before we do go, is, we've seen the power of the Zakonik. The Soviet, of Ulmakor. We've seen the power of Ulmakor, what he can do. But it proves a point when I look at this guy, who we know is powerful, is that he is only meat and bone. You might be able to throw fronts of buildings at people. But a spear through the heart definitely puts you off your stance.
Yeah.
And then a knife through the neck. These up-close and personal fighters, they cause problems for them. Biggest magic guy in the world is still can be cut. He can be killed.
Unless, of course, he's back again later that night to exact his vengeance, in which case...
Well, what happens later, of course, is still to be seen. So the problem you've got here is the fact that, what is this? That we know he's up to something. We knew he was involved.
He's a dodgy guy. He's dodgy. He's not a high...
What is he talking about?
Holt says, don't forget, it was a previously blessed last episode. You'll have to...
yeah. Okay.
Well, for those that haven't watched, do you want to expand on that, Holt? You're agreeing with him. I'm not going to put you on the spot and go, what?
Yeah, because I'm going, what?
I'm going what?
Right. Oh, yes, of course. What? I don't know.
What do you mean by that? The spear?
The spear was blessed too. Spear.
Oh, he's talking about when I took out the beastie with my exploding spear.
Your exploding spear.
Well, yeah, because I was like imbued with the power of Tal. Remember?
Were you?
I didn't know that, obviously, but...
You mean because you were caught in the blast?
Hmm?
Because you were caught in the blast?
Yeah, but I don't know that. Caradak thinks it's a spear.
Hold.
Which blast?
I'm confused.
So he called upon Tal.
Yeah.
And you jumped in front of him.
Yeah.
So when he went, whoa, give out the old god power, you were right in the middle of it.
Yeah, I know, but remember when I put my spear
through the creature
and it exploded?
Yeah. Well, it kind of got sucked back into another dimension.
I felt the power.
You felt the power.
You felt it.
You felt the power.
I've got the power.
That's what I go around saying that now. In game.
I felt the power.
Try that tomorrow. I've just beheaded a guy last night from it, but I feel the power. Oh, please.
So, yeah, that's where we are.
Anyways.
Yeah. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. It has been a pleasure, as usual. Sorry about last week. Episode 10 next Sunday, 7:30 p.m. Hopefully you can join us. Wasn't the magic passed through the spear? Very possible, Hold. Very possible.
Yeah, it's all come from me. It's not him. It's me.
Or was it him? So we will see what happens next episode. Talbot pinned. Sorry, no. Well, actually, not Talbot. Caradak pinned to a bed.
We take LARPing seriously.
Disemboweled and cut by the crispy, recently beheaded Erstat as the Soviet bursts through the room.
Yep.
Axe in hand.
Tooled up, ready to go.
Have it. Have that.
Yeah. Have some of this.
I want to see swinging.
Yeah.
Windmilling.
Plenty of keys.
I've been on the eel.
Yeah, that's right. Back off. I've had ale.
Oh, go on, Ulmi, get him.
Well, thanks very much, everybody. We will be back. We are scheduled for Tuesday for a Battlefield 5. So we will see you then. That'll come up in the next moment. Before we do go, I just want to say very quickly, for anybody that does want some art, hopefully my audio is still working. Let me know if it's not. I want to bring with you that the Cortex and its artwork is being brought to you by Studio 77, Devil Monkey. Details are on the screen as you look at. Here's some examples of The Exorcist. Some art that he's put together that he loves personally. Please look him up. There's his contact details.
That's great.
He does some fantastic artwork. If you need it for your games, for your role play, for avatars, you can think of it. If you want to design something for your website, please look him up. Give him a shout. Fantastic man to work for. Promote business. And yeah, 77 Studios. And thank you very much, Devil Monkey, for your work. We'll be showcasing some of that at a later date during our campaign. But otherwise, that's it from me.
That is
and from me, yep.
Talbot. Thank you very much for watching.
And from Nevin, absolutely. Thank you for your attendance, and look forward to seeing you next time.
Yeah, make sure you tune in next time, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And bring a friend. Bring two.
Bring as many friends as you like.
Yeah, and of course, if you do check us out on
free
on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And any support, whether on Twitch or YouTube, will be greatly appreciated. Just makes us feel a little bit loved and makes us feel like we should keep on doing this.
Yeah.
Of course.
So, thank you very much, everybody.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye-bye.